This is Bruce Buffer, and this is the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time for the MMA-Holes!
No way.
From the Sanosi 1.5K King Studios of Arizona, will you buy UFC 278 pay-per-view? We want to know tonight. We got some MMA news. We have Contender Series prospect Clayton Carpenter live with the MMA-Holes. Welcome, friends, to the show. The MMA Holes are live. UFC 278 fight week is here. Kamaru Usman versus Edwards, part 2, going down Saturday night, and we're going to be here hanging with the boys. Thank you, Cody Garbrandt. How you doing? Everyone in the chat, stop what you're doing. Hit the fucking like button. Smash your emojis in our chat room right now because we have a fantastic show for you tonight. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the UFC 278. I have a live poll in the chat. Vote away. I want to know if you're going to be buying, consuming the UFC 278 event, which is going down the rematch with Usman and Leon Edwards. Before we get into the fiasco, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Head Rush, Sheath Underwear, CBDX.com, ESPN Plus. Thank you very much for sponsoring the MMA Holes. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is a fantastic night. We got a show Wednesday night ready to roll, and we have a gentleman that's on the show, first time appearance on the show, a new UFC fighter, flyweight, a 6-0 concrete Clayton Carpenter. Welcome to the show, my friend. Let's go, baby.
Thank you very much, dude. Appreciate you having me.
All right. Well, Clayton, it's a nice experience to have some of these Contender Series guys on the show, and you stuck out very much over here because you're fighting out of the MMA lab. You're coming in young, hot, hungry on the Contender Series, and the fight that you had on that night was a complete war. It was so much fun to watch. Now that some days have passed, you're officially a UFC fighter. How does it feel to be Clayton Carpenter right now?
You know, it didn't really kick in until like a couple days ago, or yesterday. Like Sunday and Monday is when it really started to set in. But it's a lot of things. There's a lot of things to think about, and you don't really feel it until you get here. Speaking for myself, you know, I've had a little bit different of a journey, and so finally living this pivotal moment has been pretty surreal, you know?
I bet. And you got idiots like me reaching out in your DMs like, hey, come on our show. It's got to be really wild.
It's all good. It's cool. It's good. I need to practice.
And so like, now, here you are, 6 professional fights, 4 of them finishes, and I mean, the last fight in the Contender Series was bonkers. It was wild. I know you're a finishing guy. I saw the compilation that you sent, and by the way, we put it on our community center if you want to check it out. Wild stuff, man. You've been starting this really young. You've been going out there, putting people's lights out, strangling people, grabbing arms, and in the Contender Series, fighting in front of Dana White. Was that what you had in mind, that fight that went down?
So there's a few things on my mind. I knew that a quick sub wasn't the secured answer for a contract. So I had a whole set of specified combos that I created specifically for this guy. Right. And I feel like I was too scoped in on some of the specifics, and I forgot the rest of my toolbox, and I forgot to go out there and be me. So I'm not really as disappointed as I was right off the bat for allowing him to listen to the third bell, but I mean, it was a dominating performance.
It was. You won every round. Correct. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, you won every single round in that fight, correct, on the scorecard? Let me double check.
I think I won the last two, if I'm not mistaken.
According to the website, it's 28. Yeah, unanimous decision 28-29, 28-29, 28-29. So all right, so you didn't win every round, but you won every judge over there. So okay,
correct. And the reason why I'm making the distinction is because that's the first time I've ever lost a first round. Yeah. It's the first time I ever lost a first round. So, yeah, I was a little salty about that, but it's all right. He caught me pretty early on. I didn't really. I knew he had reach on me, but I didn't even really look at it. I didn't know it was 5-6 inches of reach, and he did a really good job. He did a really good job utilizing it, and when he caught me in the beginning, the shot didn't really feel anything out of the ordinary. You know, he just caught me in a really good spot where my blew up a little bit underneath my eye, but it wasn't shit, and it made me a little bit more hesitant, or not hesitant, but it made me take my time a little bit more looking for my specific reaction instead of really pushing the pace. And I should have just let loose a little bit more.
So after that first round happens, you get it, get that over with. You get to your corner over there. What was your cornerman saying after that round?
He's talking about doing more feints and a few there's a few other things that we discussed that were just being reiterated, and and yeah, I feel like I adjusted after that second round. I didn't really expect to go back to the stool, so I was kind of pissed at the fact that I was even there. And then when they brought the doctor in, that kind of it wasn't, I wouldn't say it's to the point of alarming, but I didn't think it looked that bad. So enough to bring in the doctor, when they brought in the doctor, I was just like, what? I'm like, really? I'm like, it looks like that, And then he's like, can you see out of both eyes? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, So
that must have been something else. Here you are in front of Dana White, right? The first round doesn't go your way, but you're like, okay, I'm still in this game. A doctor comes up, checks your eye. So your head must have been going 1,000,000 miles an hour, or were you zen? Were you calm?
I was a little bit more all right. It was a little bit more of okay, you tricky little thing, I'm like, you fucking tagged me wonder, and so, and then I'm like, all right, it's time to really start, getting into it. And I feel like I turned up the volume in a very surgical way, and not too wild. I got a little wild there, I think, at the end of the first, just trying to go trying to get him, and I should have. There's a few things, but I'm not going to get into all of it. But
okay, well, it's interesting because the fight was a war. It was so much fun to watch. It was very enjoyable. It was so enjoyable that the boss says, "Hey, you got the contract." The best part about this is the guy that is headlining, so-called headlining the card, the elephant in the room, the big man, the wrestler, the guy that everyone was talking about, does not get the contract, but you get the contract. Were you shocked? Bo Nickel being up there and everyone talking about this guy.
No, I wasn't shocked at all. That was the whole reason why I fought the fight that I did, instead of going out there and getting a quick sub. Because I didn't want to have that same conversation, be in that seat like Bo Nickel, wondering, you know. I've had homies, I've had a bunch of my teammates get quick knockouts, get quick finishes, and then they're like, oh, no, sorry. You know? And this fight demanded a more dominating performance. And I feel like I filled those boxes, and it left me open. And, you know, people saw the result of some of that. And now that I'm out of this weird mile marker of trying to impress Dana instead of just focusing on winning, then I'm doing my thing now. You know, I'm not going to have any of these weird mental parameters as to how I'm supposed to win. You know, being told how you're supposed to win. It's gross.
Yeah. You know, it makes sense that you say this, because realistically, you have only 6 pro fights, right? So in front of the boss, you want to show every single tool that you have, right? Whereas Bo Nickel...
not even that. It's not like showing every tool I have. It's more of like the way that you finish them. You know? Like, the whole reason you're talking to me right now, like bringing up the subject of how Bo Nickel didn't get it, like, and you're asking me if I'm surprised. I'm not surprised one bit. It's happened to a few of my homies. And so, what do? You tell yourself not to go out there and knock them out quick because it won't give you, you know, the contract. And I'm not saying that if it weren't for that line of thinking, I would have knocked him out in the first round, because I was trying to go for his head. But it's just different, you know? It's just different. It's a different fight on that Contender Series, and I'm looking forward to just going out there and being me for my next fight.
You seem like a very fascinating human being. You're very zen, calm, cool, I got to ask you, are you high right now, or is this just your everyday demeanor?
You know what's so funny, man? A bunch of people have told me that since I was pretty young, like before I even, you know, started doing anything. And like in junior high, when I wrestled, one of my teammates come up to me and he's just like, you're high right now, aren't you? He's just like, you can tell me. Like, it's okay, you can tell me. And I'm just like, nah, dude. I'm like, that's just how I am, man. Like, I'm just relaxed. And it was in wrestling practice too. And you see, the thing is, in martial arts that most people forget is that you're supposed to be relaxed. You're not supposed to let your emotions control you. And I do a lot of work on controlling my mind and my body. And I feel like I've come to a point where I have full control, and it feels nice. It seems like it's such a beautiful compliment, though, when everybody thinks that I'm high and I'm not, you know, because I think a lot of people see my mentality as incapable of reaching without stimuli, and it's whatever, you know, like they think that this mental state is not reachable, you know, without substances. And so it's really a beautiful compliment.
I mean, listen, I'm fucking jealous. I'm not going to lie. My head goes a million miles an hour. I'm rambling like crazy on this show. I ramble in my regular life. So, like, how can I get to your level here? You said you've done yoga before. I've seen that in interviews. You say you read a lot of books. Do you attribute this to those things?
Absolutely. I think it cannot be one or two. I think it has to be a combination of everything that I've accomplished on my path. And I used to think that it was the arts solely that gave me this, but then I look at some of the other goons in the fight game and I'm like, well, they don't got it, so it must not that might not be like the only reason why I'm here, or else, you know, more people would have it. I guess, maybe, I don't know, but but the arts and the artists that raised me, I think you see the repercussions of the mentality and being able to really not allow your mind to just run rampant, like you were saying, how you say like your inner dialogue takes a hold of you and you're not able to hold on, is kind of how I picked up what you were saying.
So do you get anxiety? Do you get any sort of panic in your life?
Yeah, man. I'm human, dude. There's some stuff that gives me anxiety, you know? It's just stuff that you probably wouldn't assume. And it's something that, you know, it's just different. You know, I spent a lot of time in my environment. So the anxiety is removed from me being in that environment.
It's interesting. So your coaches and stuff like that, do they try to keep you in this zone, or do they try to amp you up in certain situations? Like, say, for instance, like in your fight, we'll go to your last fight. Did they say, hey, man, you got to pick up the pace, or you got to do something different, or just stay in that mental state? Because I find this fascinating right now. I like the fact that you're so calm. I don't know. I feel like I want to rip this out of your body and put it in me. Like, I can't figure this out here. So has there been situations where your coaches were like, hey, man, you got to amp it up, or just stay like that?
Oh, okay. I understand what you're saying. And it's the back and forth between me and my coaches, kind of inexplainable with words. But every fighter's different. Some fighters need to get slapped around. Some fighters need to get yelled at. Some fighters, I feel like most fighters usually have to tell themselves a story. You know, a lot of fighters need to get mad, and you could tell, in my humble opinion, the ones that get mad, get really, you know, they need to tell themselves that. It's clearly like their state that they feel like they need to be in to accomplish what they want. And that's great, you know, like everyone's different. And I think I'm me, so I don't really see it from your perspective. You know, I see it a lot less because I'm just in it, you know?
Yeah.
But as far as getting back to the original question of what's like the back and forth between me and my coaches, as far as you thinking that I'm too zen back there, like I'm assuming that you're kind of getting at, like, does my coach try to like fire me up, like, oh, come on, Clay, get fired up? Is that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah, I'm curious. Has there ever been a moment, whether it's training or in a fight, where your coaches were? I mean, you have a lot of quick finishes and stuff like that, but so has there ever been? So did that never happen, huh?
No, it's a look. It's a look, and it's an understanding of how warm I need my body to be, you know, as far as like running a few warm-up laps. It's like it's the race car running a few warm-up laps, you know, before the race. And my warm-up laps are just firing the missiles. So I'll just fire some kicks, fire all of my power shots, get all the specific combos, get all the specific movement. And it's more of just a look. There's no words, you know. It's just a look and an understanding.
As I'm talking to you, you reminded me of a mix of two people. Ready for this? I'm seeing Elon Musk and American Psycho Christian Bale.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's what Bisping was on, too. I'm, like, trying to be all serious, you know, like, in my fight, which I am, you know, like, nothing can get through when I'm in that cage. And then I heard Bisping, like, mumbling some, like, he's like, oh, he looks like he's from American Psycho.
Did he say that? Did he
yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, right when I was in the cage, like, right when I was, like, walking by him, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, what the hell is he saying? And then some other fool was like, he's just like, oh yes. He's just like, he's very zen. Oh, he's very Steven Seagal. And then I'm like, what the hell are you guys talking about? I'm like, compare me to Steven Seagal. I'm like, get out of here. Okay.
Well, American Psycho is a very good comp. That's like my favorite movie. That, I mean, one of the best movies. Dude, I fucking love that movie. It's a psycho movie, but I love it. But just how calm and cool he is. He has his everyday routine. You know, I mean, he winds up killing people. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Spoiler alert. But anyway, so did he say this on the broadcast? Because I wasn't listening to the broadcast. I was just watching and streaming. But did he actually say that on the broadcast?
He said it when I was walking right next to him. And then I like listened to it on the broadcast, and it was funny, you know. They gotta crack jokes, they gotta say shit.
Yeah.
You know. I thought that Steven Seagal was kind of like a lame one, just because it's Steven Seagal. What the hell?
Yeah, that's kind of goofy, right? Steven Seagal's running around all fat, ponytailed.
Goof answer. That's a little.
Yeah. So explain this experience, because every fighter that we've had on that's competed in the Contender Series before, they always have this bad experience. Every single fighter that we've had on said, I was in this shitty hotel room.
Bad experience?
Yeah, like for instance, I'll give you an example. I had a fighter recently, a week ago, come on and say that he had to share a bedroom with all his coaches and everything like that. It was like this bizarre situation.
Yeah, that's the drill.
Yeah, so you and your coaches were just lumped into a room together.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, not throwing any shade at the UFC, but they used to have their own hotel, and it was really nice when I went in to go do my media. They have a stove, they have 2 rooms, and a couch for someone to crash on, you know? And it made it easier when you're bringing your coaches, because then they just put you in a 2-bed room, you know, and someone's got to bunk up, you know, or like make some little cocoon on the floor, and you got to either figure it out, you know, your boys are there.
Yeah.
So yeah, for this season, they put us in a different hotel, and it was all right, you know. The elevators worked, you know, sometimes, and there was no stove. So me and my homie just went to Walmart and bought a stove, because it's important for us to cook all of our meals. And ain't no thing, no hiccups, you know, no worries.
Yeah, you just basically focused on, hey, man, I got a fight coming up. Who cares what the situation is, right?
Whatever.
Was there any moment along the way where you felt starstruck? Did you run into someone and be like, oh, my God, I cannot believe I'm actually standing next to this human being?
Nah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've been around all these goons for a while.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up with them, and ever since I was a child. So, if there's there's none of that. The only starstruck moment I felt was for myself in the warm-up room, because I had a nice warm-up room. You know, usually warm-up rooms are hit and miss depending on what promotion you're under, and it was nice being at the Apex, and I got my own TV, I got my own space, you know, and I get to see, I like heard the ESPN sounds. It's like and then it's like my intro, and that was nuts. That's when I was like looking at the TV. I had my gloves on, I was in the warm-up room, I looked at my coaches, and I was just like, all right, you know, it's time to go out, have some fun.
That must have been something else, right? You're 26 years old, 6 fights as a pro, and here you are on ESPN Plus. I mean, this is nuts. This is freaking nuts, man. So that's when it hit you. So you're saying when you heard that, you're like, okay, it's going down. Or was it when you got the call to go into the Contender Series? Like, when did it hit you like, oh shit, it's about to get real?
You asked, that was me asking answering the Starstruck, your kind of question about like star power or whatever. And that's when I felt like, whoa.
Okay.
This is about to go down. you know. But it wasn't until like a couple days ago that it started to set in. I'm like, oh damn, like I'm really in this, you know. And on the few days after the fight, it's more of just feeling it, you know. It's just feeling it and being grateful, you know, and for my performance and winning, that I didn't even really think of the context of it until I'm out in public, and it's you know, everyone's just reminded me, you know.
I mean, like you said before, you train with these guys, or you call them goons. Now, why do you call these guys goons that you train with?
Because they're the goons, dude. I just grew up with all these guys, man. Like, they're just fucking, just hooligans, dude. They're just, I don't know. The word explains itself.
So I'm showing a picture over here with you, with Benson Henderson.
Oh, yeah, those are my boys. That's my boy Livio, and that's my boy Greg and Benson. Greg was the one holding mitts for me in my fight camp, and Livio is top killer in jiu-jitsu.
Speaking of jiu-jitsu, I mean, I was watching that YouTube video that you sent, and my goodness, you flying arm bars and all this crazy stuff over here. These kids must have been crying when they saw they were matched up with you, like as you're floating around.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this fucking guy.
They're like, ah. But let's see. A lot of people haven't seen that video that you're talking about. I didn't drop it, and I didn't want it open to the public until like around the week of this fight going into the UFC, because growing up, a lot of the like other, you know, prodigies and young kids growing up, they were really on top of it with putting a lot of their content out and, you know, building themselves as a brand at a younger age. And my father didn't really want that route. He didn't want a lot of the pressure of like the sponsorships and the noise to take away from me just competing and doing it for me. And also, I don't want any video of me out there. I don't want to give any of my enemies an inch, an idea, anything. So I didn't really feel a need to ever put it out. I don't need for what, you know, like bragging rights. Oh, look at me, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, so that's, I mean, it's a smart route that you went. Like me, I would be like, if I'm doing this to human beings, I'd be throwing it everywhere. But like you said, then they would know all your secrets, right? I mean,
when you can do it, you don't really care if people know, you know. And it's better to just keep it on the wrap, in my opinion, you know, and just do it. So, but now it's time for me to really start taking my social media seriously and try and do better and be more consistent, because I'm pretty trash at it, and I don't really like being on my phone in general, especially during fight camp. I like to just have it away. I feel like the distractions of the cyber world can just draw you in and waste too much of your time. So, and for me personally, sometimes it's like an overload of communication, and it's just too much noise. And sometimes I get slightly distracted from what I'm doing, and the fact that I need to go to practice, you know, like cooking all my food, make it on time. And anyways, I just try to stay off of it, but I can't anymore. So I gotta like occasionally put content on and like, you know, be consistent with it.
Yeah, it's funny. It is very distracting, right? I mean, it's distracting for me as Joe Schmo doing a podcast. But you, as a UFC fighter, now you're getting everyone wanting your attention. You're getting everyone that's pulling you in all different directions. And also, you do have to brand yourself, right? Like, when you get a contract in the Contender Series, a lot of these guys have to use this platform in order to make the name for themselves. And then if you renegotiate or whatever, it's a business now. It's not just fun and games in the gym where you're training and you're beating up people. Now you got to build the brand of the Carpenter, right? Concrete Carpenter, excuse me.
Sure.
So Are you looking to have someone take over your social media? Is that the route that you're looking to go into, or are you going to handle your stuff?
I have some help right now giving me some advice, and I'm going to get a few more just like legit people on my team. And the thing is I have quite a bit of content, and I've been doing all the stuff. So I just need to have somebody to just chop my stuff up and just record what I have been doing. And I feel like that's just the easiest way to go about it.
Fair enough. I do have this video queued up over here. Do you mind me showing a little bit of it? Top secret stuff?
Let it rip.
Okay, I'm going to show it here. Maybe you could talk us.
Oh, I'll give you. Oh, yeah, we can do a live.
Let's go, baby. Come on, baby. Let's go.
Cool, yeah.
You're on the MMA-Holes now, baby. It's big time. All right, here we go. We're going to show some of this stuff here. And my mouth dropped. I was like, wow, man, this kid. I mean, like, if you would just send this highlight reel to Dana White.
When it plays, pause it. So.
Wait, what's going on here? We're getting a buffering here. This is unacceptable. This is
no, it's perfect.
There we
go.
So, all right.
Yeah, here, pause it.
Okay.
I should have just let it rip. So the previous video was when me, my little brother, and my little sister, and Aaron Pico made it on the Pancration fight team, and we all traveled to the Ukraine, to Kyiv, and we me and my family went on this really cool night, like kind of day train or night train, I guess, that took us throughout the day, through the night. It was like a little sleeper car, and such a beautiful trip. And we went to that with 4 competitors, my family and Pico. And we ended up taking 3rd overall. I can't remember in what category, because it got broken up into 3 days. It was like submission grappling, MMA, and then their like Sambo hybrid rules that they had going on. And that was the first time that I was introduced to the Dagestanis. And nobody knew who, like in America anyways, nobody really knew who the Dagestanis were except for the wrestlers. All the wrestlers know who the Dagestani are. And I can't remember how old I was in that video, but I think I was about 13 or something in that video, throwing that flying triangle, and got over it, locked it up. Yeah, let it play.
Damn, man. That's crazy, huh? 13 years old.
Me and Pico just wrecked shop, and my little brother and my little sister.
That's wild, man. So this is like when you got, this is crazy. How old are you in this video over here? Were you trotting around?
I was, yeah, right. I was a wild little guy. I think I'm 12, dude. I think I'm 12 God. Or no, I'm like 13 maybe.
So I gotta go a little further back now. So were your parents into martial arts or into any of this stuff, or they just did it for self-defense?
Nope.
For you?
It was me. When I was like 5 years old, I wanted to do martial arts. My old man put me in baseball, all the regular stuff, and he told me that I guess I was just like a pain in the ass when it came to team games. I just didn't want to do any of it.
I mean, some people go the route of the team sports, the traditional stuff, but it seems like when it comes to the martial arts over here, this is something that no matter what size you are, it doesn't matter, right? Like, you are teamed up against people that are in your class and this whole thing here. And I'm looking at this video. This is nuts. Like, the stuff that's going on here. Like, you must have been pulling so many girls back in the day. I mean, girls must have been throwing their panties at you left and right. This is crazy.
Nah, man. I was a weird, quiet kid growing up, dude. Just went to the gym, lived in the gym. Here, play the next one. The next one was savage. okay, that's an important one that I'll get to, the one you had it at.
Okay.
Here, you can just let it play out. I'll walk you through it. So that's when I was 13. That guy was huge. The way they pair people up, they're like, oh, you go with you. That was Muay Thai Nationals. Okay, pause it. Okay, look what I'm doing. So this was the first competition that one of my homies, Gabe Kirk, shout out to Gabe Kirk, when we used to do jiu-jitsu together, this was right before this tournament. He told me to underhook the leg, which is what I'm doing with my right hand. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, when you get the triangle, get that angle. And that was the first opponent that I did it with. And play it. Sorry, you keep pushing. Just keep it on the video, and I'm just gonna walk.
All right, no doubt. We got it. Next time we're gonna have you in studio so we can get this nice and smooth. Here we go.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so I'm going. I put the arm over, and I'm like, he's not going to sleep. I gotta go for the arm bar. And I look down, and I'm like, oh, whoa, he's asleep. And then I was like, genuinely, I'm like, damn. I'm like, I hope he's good, and you could see it on my face.
Oh my God.
It was like,
I'm going to rewind this. Hold on a second. I didn't even notice that. I noticed the arm, but like the arm almost snapped in half over here, and the dude was out cold.
The reason why it didn't was because he was asleep.
Oh,
because he was relaxed. If he wasn't relaxed, then who knows, I
got to zoom in on this. This is wild.
But, yeah. And and then I'm like, oh no.
Oh my God. Oh, no wonder they were shaking. And then you start shadow boxing.
No, that was a cut.
It's like,
I wasn't right after.
The way it looks. Oh God. That would have been hilarious though. You just got up and you're like, yeah, whatever, bro.
Totally different country. This is Vegas. The other one was Ukraine.
Gotcha. Jeez, so you're traveling the world. And by the way, if you guys want to see this nice and smooth, we got it on our community section over here. So go check it out for yourselves. We dropped it in Discord too. So you're traveling the world at what, 12, 13 years old, you said?
13, I would say. 13, 14 is probably when I fought out of the country for the first time.
I got to ask you though, like, are you worried that like when you're in your 40s, 50s and you're looking back, you're like, I didn't have a childhood. I was a trained assassin. Do you worry about that?
I'll give you the whole rundown on that. So when I was a freshman in high school, I went to high school for, I wouldn't say no more than like 2-3 months, maybe 3. And I won Muay Thai Nationals. And this made me eligible to be on Team USA, to go fight in St. Petersburg, Russia for the IFMA World Championships. It's one of the most prestigious Muay Thai tournaments. I don't know if you're aware, but Muay Thai tournament style means you're fighting more than one day. So you fight killers, you fight twice in a day. And that's different for 3 days. It's a 3-day tournament.
Oh my God.
So boom, 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 like back to back, And that style of fighting is much different because it almost becomes less of one and done, go out there, get the finish no matter what. And it kind of becomes, I need to win without taking damage, because I'm about to fight the next guy. I got to make sure that my shins don't get too banged up. I got to make sure, So It's just a whole different mindset. It's a lot crazier fighting in that tournament style. But anyways, it was that year that I was going to go fight in Russia. My old man went to my high school and told them that I was going to take a couple weeks off. And my high school told me that I was going to have to redo the grade if I took that time. And my dad just gave him the finger, said that I was going to train online. I was going to go to school online and just train like 5 hours a day. And that's what I did, man. I trained like 5-6 hours a day, didn't go to high school. I just played COD and went to the gym and, did my work occasionally.
Wow. So did you graduate high school?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you did graduate. Okay. Your dad sounds like a very scary human being. Like he sounds like he's a very tough man.
It's so funny. Everyone has their own opinions of my dad, and they wonder, like, they all think that, like he's some martial artist fighter guy. But he's just a really savvy engineer, mechanical engineer, businessman, real articulate, very calculated. And some of that definitely rubbed off a little bit. But I'm definitely my own person, I would say.
So did your dad train at all? Was he into martial arts at all or no?
Nope. No,
Wow.
That's what everyone suspects, but it was me. I wanted to do it, and it was... I never really knew this until last night. My old man always tells the same stories, but he said this the other night, and I never really understood it till he said it this way. It was when I fought in the Ukraine, and I was doing stuff like throwing flying triangles, going after these Dagestani crazy wolves. The Dagestani team was like a pack of wolves. And that was like the first time that I understood the pack mentality. Like every team has their pack mentality, but the Dagestani have their own thing going on. And it was just really cool. It was so cool to meet all those competitors, lifelong friends across the world, But going back to what I was saying, he saw me doing all this, and he was literally taking me across the world, trying to find anybody who could beat me, trying to going to Europe, finding all the Dagestanis, fighting all these Russians. And when he saw me doing as well as I was, then I gotta get behind this. This is crazy. He's just like, he can actually be good. And he's been my main supporter, and I wouldn't be here without him finding the best coaches and taking me across the world to see if anyone can beat me.
It's got to be tricky too. I mean, with him, with working and stuff like that, you as a kid, he's got to provide for the family, but he's also got to be there for you and travel with you. Was it tricky?
So we had a pretty sweet little deal. So my dad's doing his own thing, but my mom works for the airlines. So every time we traveled like damn near for free because we were flying standby, and we just got crazy benefits. And my old man was just like, yeah, like, let's go. We can all go to Europe for super cheap. And yeah, so we did.
Wow. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have a little brother, little sister, and then I have 2 new little siblings that just turned 7 earlier this year.
Oh, wow. So, oh, wow, jeez, there's a big family over there. So, are they all into the game too? Are they into martial arts? Or are they doing their own thing?
Oh yeah. So Mika, my little sister's a savage. She won American Nationals every year, or more times than I did it. And when we fought over in St. Petersburg, Russia, she made it to the finals with the Russian national champion. Beat the brakes off this girl. In the last round, just hit her with a spinning back elbow, busted her nose open. But we're in Russia, and we ended up losing on the cards. But it was almost disgraceful. It was almost like a fight. Like if you would have won that fight on the cards, you would have not even wanted to put the medal around your neck, type of fight.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious.
That's wild. That is so wild. I tell you what, your father must be so proud of the whole family, right? You guys, I mean, is there one disappointment in the family? Who's the disappointment?
Who's the disappointment? Okay, so we're all our own thing, man. And it's funny, like earlier in the interview, you were talking about how like I'm a little bit more like calm, and like before my fights, you know, like I'm not maybe as amped is kind of like what you're getting at. Is that what you were kind of talking about?
Yeah, before I was so focused on your demeanor, like everything about you is so calm. So I'm like, man, when you're getting ready to go to war with someone inside a cage, like how do you channel how do you flip that switch? You know, that's what I was trying to go into before.
And I'll give you a little bit of the journey as far as like the preparation. Everyone has their own thing, you know. But when a batter goes up to the plate, he has his own little whatever makes him, you know, whatever his little ritual is of he, you know, swings it around 3 times or whatever. Everyone has their own little way of, you know, prepping themselves to get ready to step on the canvas or the mats or wherever. And when I was younger, I used to get amped up. I was in the bullpen, you know, and my little brother was more like I am now. He was more like calm. He wasn't warm. He wouldn't want to like warm up properly. And my dad used to get pissed because he's like, man, he's just like, you're not even, he's like, come on. And I think it was just probably because he was comparing him to me, and I was just getting amped up. But I don't know, I guess you don't really see the amps being released, you know. I do it in the warm-up room. So but I've kind of evolved to just going out there and doing my thing and just walking it, you know.
When you got that contract, what'd your father say to you? What was the first thing he said?
I'm having a hard time remembering, but I think he said something just like, he's like, you're in. He's like, you're in. And I'm like, and I was so pissed I didn't even finish them that it kind of like, kind of just like took away from the moment a little bit. I'm like, nah. It was more of like the work is not done kind of feeling than, ooh, yay, I got the contract, you know.
It's funny you say that. Our last guest, Goff, was on the Contender Series, and he was so disappointed because he almost got finished and then went back and finished his opponent, but he was so angry that he got dropped and he was in trouble, that he couldn't focus on all the other stuff. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe the fact that you went through that and you were like so focused on all this negative stuff that no matter what happened, maybe this was a learning experience for you in the future. Do you see this as a learning experience, or you're like, I'm not making that mistake again? Like, what do you pull from this?
I mean, it should always be a learning experience. And there should always be something to pull from it, whether you win or lose. I think that some people got too used to this silly phrase that said that like you either win or you learn. You know, a lot of people say that to make them feel better about themselves after they lost, but you should be taking stuff away whether you win or you lose. Otherwise, you're not going to be evolving. And you know, it's just me being a little bit too hard of a critic on myself, and it's all, you know, it's all good. I went out there, I still dominated, still did my thing, and it gave me so much. You have no idea, and we're not going to go over it all here, but one of my favorite was how he cut me open. The way he threw it, beautiful angle. I loved it. And probably going to use it.
I tell you what, man, I could watch that fight over and over again. Your opponent, he could be in the UFC too. That guy he's a savage, man. Was there anything that he did that surprised you? Like, was there something in there that you're like, wow, I didn't expect that?
Not at all. Oh, wait, one big thing. But as far as game plan and strategy and technique-wise, not at all.
Okay.
No. He did exactly what we thought he was going to do. We knew those flying knees were coming. We knew he likes that spinny shit. And I got under one of them, the other one, my hand was up, but it kind of got me, like, you know, kind of glanced off the shoulder. And he liked to do that at the end of the 10 seconds to try and put a stamp on it, try and, like, you know, throw some last minute flash to give the judges something to, you know, feel like is super significant, you know, when all he's doing is just giving a lot in the last 10 seconds, you know. And none of those knees fazed me at all. That, especially that one that got me a little bit, like right here. And then he threw that shot after the first round. And then I looked at him after that round and I'm just like, I was like smiling, and I'm just like, oh. And one of the announcers, I can't remember who it was, they're like, oh, he's respecting that shot. They thought I was like respecting the flying knee or the other shot, but it wasn't that at all. It was me like, I'm like, oh, you made it past the first. I'm like, good job. I'm like, yeah, I'm coming. I'm like, it's about to get turned up, you know.
I tell you what, man, while we were watching the fight, we did a live reaction to it. We do it to all the UFC fights, the Contender Series, all this stuff. We get to talk with the chat and have, like, talk smack. Your fight was wild. Like, it just reacting to your fight. I was immediately rooting for you as soon as we found out you were from Arizona. But your swag, I mean, it was just, everything about you is just so much fun to watch. And now talking to you, I mean, how could we not root for Clayton Carpenter? Concrete. How could we not root for you? I mean, it's
you're too kind.
It's wild, man. You're a fascinating story. Did Dana White, I mean, the whole thing, Dana White giving the speech beforehand, he did it with the other show before yours. Did he jump into the locker room and give you his epic speech? What did he say? No, huh?
He didn't show up. Yeah.
So he felt the week before. I mean, the week before was bonkers, and then the next week was good too, as well. So no, were you?
Oh, maybe he went and talked to the fighters because the first week was trash.
Yeah, the first week is bad.
So he's just like, you know what? He's like, I gotta make sure these. He's like, I gotta make sure these fuckers know, and that's why he went and like gave them all a pep talk. Apparently, you know, that's what people need to put a little pep in their step, I guess.
Yeah, the gentleman that was in the locker room the second week was saying it was so funny because Dana came in and he gave this big speech, but fighters kept on coming back in because they were getting their hands wrapped. So he'd have to redo the speech over and over and over again. And guys wanted to laugh because they were like, this is this epic speech, but he had to keep on repeating himself. So no speech from Dana. What about after the contract? After he says, hey, you got the contract, did Dana come up to you?
It was, yeah. Yeah, we just shook hands. It was real brief. I said, what's up, Mr. White? And that was it. Yeah.
Like Jesse Pinkman? Is that what you like?
Yeah. I'm just like, yo, what's up, Mr. White?
And how did he respond?
It wasn't too Jesse Pinkman, but I don't know. Maybe it sounded like that. Maybe, I don't know.
It's got to be crazy, man. You're shaking the boss's hand. You got the contract. What about after the fight? Did you like go crazy? Did you party afterwards? What happened?
Just a little bit, you know, nothing too major. Just hung out. The real treat was just the dinner with the fam.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do to have fun? I heard a brief interview beforehand where you were talking about you play music, you go on these hikes, you check out like the landscape, the beautiful landscapes of Arizona and everything going on. You read books. But now that you're a UFC fighter, do you do anything special now, or is it the same stuff?
What you mean, bro?
Like hang glide, bang hookers.
Nah. Destinations are just gonna change, and like not even like right now, but destinations are gonna change. The level of what I do is gonna change, but what I do isn't going to change. A whole lot. You know, I think I'm gonna start having a little bit more money to do the things that I'm already doing. Mm-hmm. And I definitely plan on getting my skydiving license. I don't know how far along my career I'm going to do that. I'm not really trying to be like too focused on that. I'm in my sport and I do enough as it is. My sport, reading, yoga, you know, going on my runs is more than enough. I like traveling. I'm gonna do some trips. I love doing trips after my fights. I'm gonna go out to California, recharge my batteries, go see the fam, and have a nice time healing up before the next scrap.
There you go. So you're not locked down with a girlfriend. You're just zoned in on the. So a lot of fighters are like that. A lot of fighters we have on, they're like, I don't have time for that shit. Like, like they're in the gym constantly. They're focusing on their goals, their career, this and that. You're still young, but do you ever think, hey, I want to settle down, have a family, this whole deal, or that's not even on your mind?
Well, it's very difficult, and as far as like how I grew up, there's so many like factors. There's just kind of so many like different factors, because first of all, like my day is pretty intense, you know, and it's pretty full, and a lot of cute girls require just like a lot of, you know, it's like nourishing a difficult plant, you know. You just got to make sure you're like, all right. It's just like, man, it's like I can't water this plant like every 5 minutes, you know. I can't just be like texting all day long. I'm like, I got a bunch of stuff to do. and usually like it doesn't, I'm just on my own path, you know. And occasionally, you know, like I'll get like a cool girl, you know, that comes in, you know, comes along. And as far as like how I grew up though, all the coaches, and I don't know if you did this or like if you played any sports in like high school, but all the coaches and all the old dogs that I grew up with, it's like, oh, you know, the girls are a waste of time. You know, you need to focus, you know? So it's like even more so, they're like, you got a tournament, you know, it's like, why, you know, you're going out partying, you didn't get your fucking run in last night? They're like, what are you doing, you know? And so that kind of gets into play. There was this one relationship that I was in, and I started to see myself get a little bit more lazy, you know, a little bit more lazy. I wasn't pushing myself as hard as I was when I was just kind of walking the path alone. And I'm not saying that's like on her, you know, I'm not putting it on her, but sometimes like other people that don't live your lifestyle can kind of get you to become a little bit more acclimated to their lifestyle, you know. And not a whole lot of people live the lifestyle that I'm at as far as like being an elite athlete. And it seems like it's just difficult to find somebody who wants to live that life or is capable. But I don't know. I try not to put too much pressure on it. You know, I just do my own thing.
Sure.
You know?
It makes sense, though, because in a relationship, there requires a lot of sacrifice. There really does. You have to bend. But if you're a professional athlete and you're chasing an elite dream that many people don't even know what that's about, you know, how could they relate unless they're in the game? Would you date someone from a gym? Have you ever run into a hot, smoking vixen that walks into your gym, the MMA lab? You're like, whoa, look at this bombshell. That's never happened?
I mean, there's bombshells, but I don't date anyone from the gym. It's like a rule of mine, and it's been a rule of mine for quite some time. Ever since I was coaching. I started coaching when I was like 15. So lived in the gym, and that's my place to be. And it's the last place that I want to be like looking over my shoulder or like thinking that like my girl is like watching me or anything, or like you end up having some relationship with someone, falls out, things don't happen, and maybe things are weird, or like, you know, then that's how the drama starts. You guys just start talking shit about each other, and the gym is my place, you know. I don't shit where I eat. I don't really like to do that. And I've stayed pretty true to that. I don't really date any girls in the gym.
Smart man, look at you. You got it all together. 26 years old, you got it all figured out. Talk to me about this picture from a little while back. Mr. Sugar Sean O'Malley, who's popped in and out of the lab over there. What's your experience with
Oh,
Sean
yeah.
O'Malley?
Dude, Suge's a homie. He's chill. We don't kick it outside of the gym, but we train jiu-jitsu together.
And so, from my understanding, he goes back to the lab for striking, or does he do jits at the lab? Like, what happens over there? Because I know he's training somewhere else as well, right?
He has his own jiu-jitsu spot, and he just comes in to spar.
Oh, okay. So he just comes into spar over there. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it seems like you guys have complete polar opposite lifestyles. My man is smoking, hanging out with the Nelk Boys. You're reading books, hiking, and being like one with the environment, skydiving, whatever. So you're saying you're never going to go out and party with the Nelk Boys?
Oh, I mean, okay. Now I understand what you're saying. Nah, man, I think you just don't see the range, dude.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah, dude, you don't see the range, bro. I don't put that out there. And this is one thing that I've been thinking about, and that I was wondering if it was going to get brought up on this podcast. When you grow up with the artists that I grew up with, or the artists that raised me, it's the way. It's you act right, like like when you win, like you don't throw a fit when you lose in your jiu-jitsu matches because the kids you're coaching are watching you. You know, it's like you behave correctly, like you walk the path, and you don't act like, and you don't like, you know, throw little tantrums. And growing up, you know, like it was. Like your coaches wouldn't want, like you don't post any pictures of you drinking, you don't post any of this, you know, because people are watching you. And some of that old school, just that old school mentality of like, no, it's just like, you don't, you know, for what, first of all. And it's just not something you do. Now, I'm starting to come around the hard lock on all of that, because I think we're reaching an age right now where it's really hard to hide your adult life. And I used to not post any, like I don't really post any pictures of me drinking and doing anything, because it's not something that I wanted my kids that I coach to see. And I'm going to be sticking to that, but I'm also not going to allow it to affect me too much where it's going to bother me, you know? It's not that big of a deal, you know, like a little, you know, like a few pictures of me, you know, doing my thing or drinking. I've kind of like not allowed it to bother me as much. So
you're saying you're not going to dye your hair rainbow colored, right?
Not the rainbow hair guy. No, okay. I'm the cello guy.
I tell you what, though, this persona, you being just you, I see it being incredibly marketable. I really do, because in an age where the Colby Covingtons and all these brash big personalities, the Sean Stricklands out there are going crazy, you know, it needs a balance. And with a guy like you coming into the UFC now at flyweight, which is another exciting division, I would imagine that this is something that would work. But do you have something in the woodwork where you're like, I got something? Cool. Do you think you're going to show something else, though? Is there going to be something else, or is it's just going to be you?
It's cool that you think that. It's cool that you think that, and it's cool that it seems like you're saying that I'm just a refreshing little taste to
pretty much
the bullshit that's been going on. I feel like kind of what you're saying. And you guys have no idea. Nobody has any idea. Nobody had any idea even of my ability to do what I can do within the arts. You know, there's so much you guys have no idea about. And I keep a lot of my stuff on the wrap, because that's how it should be. You know, I'm not going to show. I think it's important for you not to show all of yourself to everyone. You know, then you just, there's no more of you. You know, I think that when it's like, it's just too much. You know,
yeah.
And I got I'm just gonna get some water real quick.
By the way, if you just
It's
jump
cool.
in, no, I was going to tell the chat, if you just jumping in, this is Clayton Carpenter. He just got signed with the UFC, a flyweight phenom, 6-0 on the show. So make sure you hit that like button, all right? Also, if you have any questions for Clayton in the chat, we'll rattle off a couple of questions. You have a couple of minutes for some questions from the chat?
Yeah, let's ask these fools what they're thinking about. Because I caught him out. Hell yeah. I'm not that lit yet.
Be careful. Be careful. These people are a little nutty. All right.
I bet.
So,
you know, singer Sabrina Carpenter. I've heard of her because we have the same name. I don't know. I can't remember what she looked like, so I don't know if I'd smash. Dream opponent. Don't care.
Yeah, I've heard you say that before. You don't. There's no one really out there that you care to say, I'm going after that person.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. And how do you think I mean, I got to be honest with you. Just talking to you and seeing the little bit that I have seen,
Hold up. I saw a good comment.
Go
He
ahead.
said, how much did my opponent weigh after weigh-ins? And I'm pretty sure he weighed like damn near $150. And I think he weighed $149 or $147 or $149 like that the night of weigh-ins. That's nuts.
He did look big. He did look surprisingly big.
Yeah, but he was a bigger opponent substantially. He had the champion of my division in his corner, and it wasn't enough. On the biggest stage, he had the best fight camp, played a good fight. Oh, I'm going to bounce back to what I was talking about, how he was the same fighter. I knew that the spinny stuff was coming. I knew he was going to throw that flying knee. I already had sequences for all of it. And the one thing he did change was he was a completely different fighter. And that was one thing that I wasn't expecting at all. I've researched all of his previous videos that's out there. And he's wild. He comes in hot. As soon as that bell rings, he's on it. He's rushing towards you. He's coming. And I thought, beautiful, perfect. Come here. Get over here. You know? And he wasn't. He was a completely different fighter. He's changed his whole being, his whole way that he goes about it. He played it safe. He was very, very, like, took his time. It wasn't him previously. And I wasn't expecting that at all. And that was probably one thing that I had to, probably just like one of the biggest adjustments that needed to be made after the first, and that I feel like I did.
That's right. He did have Brandon Moreno in his corner, correct? Is that who you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Was James Krause in his corner too? I can't remember now. Was it just
No.
Okay, but Brandon, so you're looking across the cage at a guy that you could be fighting down the road. Did that add to the intensity of the situation? You're like, oh hell yeah, let's go.
No, I loved it. That's what made me a little bit more pissed that I didn't finish him.
Send a message to his friend over there, right?
Yeah, but it was the two minds. It was the two minds working together, you know? And it was the greatest mind in the division, right? Using an athlete that was way bigger than him, still couldn't do it.
I tell you, what do you think? I just want to talk about these top guys with Figueiredo, Moreno, what's his, fucking Australian, New Zealand guy? What the hell is that? Kai Kara France.
Kai Kara.
Yeah. What do you think about these guys up top?
I've been dissecting their movement for a little while now, and can't wait to see what I can do, man.
Look at you. What do you think? So here we are, 2022, August. What do you think? How many years before we see you with a rank?
It's a great question, man. I don't know. Stop caring. Stop putting those took off those blinders of looking so far ahead, and I just just walk the journey now, and it'll happen when it happens.
Do you have like some sort of Like,
projection?
So basically like a vision board type deal. Do you actually say, okay, by this time I want to be this, by that time I want to be that?
Nah.
Interesting. So you're basically like, whatever happens, happens. I'm just here one fight at a time, and that's it, right?
Yeah, throw them in front of me, one at a time.
Has anything been thrown at you for the Nate Diaz card that's coming up? Because I heard Dana White say they're trying to throw some fights together on UFC 279.
Nate's on that card?
Yeah, so apparently the Nate KHAMZAT card, they're talking about throwing some fights on over there. And are you looking to get back in there quickly, or are you looking to wait, take your time?
Well, I just got my face x-rayed, so we'll see what they think about my orbital bone. It's not broken. There's no damage. There's nothing. But I'm just waiting on a few other results of some possible injuries to answer that question. There was a few injuries that I had going into this fight that were affecting me a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. Most of my injuries will remain confidential unless I've already built them twice as or more strong than they previously were. And I'll tell you one thing. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
Go ahead. I'll talk to the chat. It's fascinating. Clayton Carpenter. By the way, if you're just jumping in, Clayton Carpenter, who just fought in the Contender Series, this guy's wild, man. He's a wild story, man. Like, if you missed some of the beginning of the interview, I urge you to go back and check out some of the things that we spoke about. This man has been a trained fighter from like almost at birth, man. My man has been traveling the world, and here he is now. He's 6-0 as a UFC flyweight. We're talking about his injuries and stuff like that. Let me know in the chat what you think about what's going on over here. Snorted a bump. You think he's going to do a line right now? He's going to do a rail off some girl tied up in the corner. Let's see. First guest to ever use the bathroom. Hey, he feels comfortable. That's a good sign. He feels comfortable on the show. To say stay away from Cheyenne Vlismus. I don't think she trains at the lab, does she? I don't think she does. But I'll pass that by. What else we got here? He's taking more CBDX. You think he They want to know in the chat, do you use a bidet?
A bidet? No, but I'm about to cop one. With this new UFC check. Yeah, gonna give me a bidet.
I tell you what, I got one. We had a sponsor called Lux Bidet, not anymore. But I tell you what, it literally is a life-changing thing. We sent one to Bruce Buffer. I was like, bro, you got to try one of these things. So he's got one too. He watches his ass with that too. You got to try it. Nice. Yeah. Anyway. Well, listen, man.
Got any extras?
I tell you,
stockpile chilling in your garage.
I promise you, if we get them back on board, we're gonna send one to you immediately, no doubt about it. What about you? So you don't do like, do you do any THC stuff?
A little bit.
Okay, want us to send you some CBDX.com, a little gummy action?
Shoot all of it over.
Okay, all right, we're gonna send you some gummies from CBDX.com. How's that sound?
Sounds pretty sweet.
Okay, there we go. We'll do that. We'll get that on the way. We'll get that information after the show. Well, listen, man, this has been quite interesting. I think I'm gonna have to pop into the lab and do something from over there. So you're back training, or are you just trying to heal up now?
I'm just healing up right now. Just doing my thing.
Okay.
And let's see. Nice. Yeah, and gonna go see my fam. Gonna go probably jam out. I got some cousins that are some pretty cool artists too, and it's gonna be great.
And you play the cello, right?
Yeah.
The cello. That's a fascinating instrument. I play the guitar, but the cello has never been on my radar. So tell me about this. I hear you have an electric cello. You jam out, and do you hook up pedals to it and stuff?
Oh, yeah. It's so much fun. I was going to have something set up so that I can get down on it for you and just like give you a few licks, but but I don't have it set up. and so I play the cello, and then I play I like the bass guitar, so I fuck with the bass, so that's why I got cello, electric guitar. I got this little drum kit, little drum pad that I got so I can set up and just like play to it.
And what are you going to be walking out to in your first UFC fight, official fight? What are you looking to walk out to? You have a song in your head?
We'll see. You'll find out. Yeah, I got a few ideas, but yeah, to be determined.
All right. Sounds good. Well, next time we get you on, we got to bring this cello on. I want to hear how this thing sounds, okay?
Okay, hell yeah.
And what are predictions for this weekend? You going to be watching the fights, so you're going to be paying, or you going to be stealing the fights this weekend?
Wait, going back to what you were going to say, or what you said earlier, I might go live tonight. I might bust out the cello and go live tonight.
Okay, what is it, on Instagram, YouTube? Where can we find this?
Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, and we got your at Concrete Clayton. Go give him a follow on Instagram, and we can catch you playing the cello, right?
Yeah, maybe not. Who knows? It kind of depends if I'm feeling it. But if you're up and you ain't doing shit, you'll get the notification.
Okay, I'll definitely check it out. And hey, make sure you follow the MMA-Holes, okay?
Okay, yeah.
All right. Hey, if there's any last words you'd like to say to the community, now's the time. The stage is yours.
Yeah, man. So if you guys are interested in the arts, if you want, get in shape, do your thing, then there's some schools that you can go to. And if jiu-jitsu is your thing, then there's a really, really nice spot called Maracaba BJJ, and that's my jiu-jitsu coach. That's what we run. And the MMA lab is in Glendale, so if you're over there, you want to get down, check it out. If you more of a striking guy, or girl, then I would suggest Seton Muay Thai or Danny Brandt Muay Thai, depending on where you are in the valley.
There you go. And how long have you been in Arizona? Your whole life?
My whole life, yeah.
Oh, nice. Do you look to stay in Arizona, or when you become this big UFC champion, are you going to be all like Hollywood?
That's a good question. Who knows? I don't know yet, but I can see myself being in AZ for quite some time.
There you go. Well, Clayton, it's been a pleasure getting to know you here on the show. Appreciate you coming by, and can't wait to hear about your next...
Hold up.
Okay. They wanted to know, when you went to the bathroom, did you bump a line or no? No, I think we're in the dark. Like, is something going to jump out now? Is there someone tied up? Like, maybe the cello. Okay. Maybe.
Whoa.
Let's go. Fire it up. I got time. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We might have some cello action.
Okay, sweet. You guys hear that?
Yeah, it sounds freaking. You gonna play a little something for us?
Okay, hell yeah. Yeah. Let's see what I could do.
Oh, let's go, baby. All right, here we go.
Hold up. I gotta see this. Some atmosphere for you.
go. Wow.
Dude, oh, even the fake applause?
I mean, no, that's all real, man. That's all real.
Ooh, really?
Beautiful. That was beautiful. I had to pop a gummy when you did that. I had to get in the zone. Wow. That was amazing. Look at that. How long have you been playing for?
I just got that thing yesterday. I've just been having some fun with it.
And now you're sure you haven't murdered anyone, right? Before? Because that sounds like horror music. It sounds like you could have possibly killed some.
Is that what you felt? Yeah. Give me some more words. Give me some more words. What else?
I'm a massive horror movie fan. Like, massive. I love horror movies. I love the genre of just disturbing movies. And that seemed like it was plucked out of something incredibly disturbing. Are you a horror movie fan?
I am, but only like the good horror movies. I'm not really Texas Chainsaw. I need to see all the gore. You know, that doesn't really. It's like too much. You know, so, I like the good horror. Like, what did you see? Like, let's think. You know what was gnarly?
Go ahead.
Hereditary.
Okay.
That one was kind of, I was just like, whoa. That was the first horror movie that, like, walking out of the theater, I'm like, you, like, feel all weird walking out.
Now, all right, you're my kind of guy. That's what I'm talking about. I subject my wife to the most fucked up movies. I don't know why.
She likes it.
Maybe. I don't think so. She's actually in the chat now. I'm pretty sure she doesn't like it. But anyway, what is your all-time favorite movie?
It's a fucked up question, man. That's like asking what your favorite song is, dude. There's too many good ones. And then, like, as soon as you ask the question, then, like, a plethora of movies come in, and it's almost, like, too hard. You gotta ask, like, subcategories.
Okay. What about TV show? Do you have at least one favorite TV show that you love?
I don't watch TV. I don't have it at the crib. I think... like South Park, obviously, and huge fan of Rick and Morty, and Solar Opposites is pretty funny. You know, it's nice to kind of, you know, fill the time.
There you go.
And let's see, I'm missing some good ones.
Well, you brought up Breaking Bad. Did you go through that series or no?
Yeah, I watched all of Breaking Bad. Oh yeah, so Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones. And I think there's like a new Lord of the Rings series coming out on Amazon, and there's like the House of Dragons.
I'm in.
The dragons are coming out. You know?
Listen, more dragons the better. We have dragons on our show. we actually have dragons fly by on our show when we celebrate like goals.
Oh, wow.
So I'm a complete dragon nerd. I'm all about that. But you know, listen, I can go on all day about this. We'd be here all night if we keep talking about this shit. Clayton, we got to move on. Thank you so much though for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. Big fan, and really looking forward to what's coming next. Okay.
Nice.
All right, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Clayton Carpenter on the MMA-Holes Live. Look at that. Can't wait to see what's next from my man Clayton on the show. Look at, I mean, what the, we got a little bit of everything there tonight. A little bit of everything. I mean, my man brought out the instruments, started playing some music for us. I mean, exclusive stuff here on the show. I have to admit, in the beginning, I was very nervous. I was like, where are we going with this? Like, and then he wound up like I don't know. He was mesmerizing to talk to. Absolutely mesmerizing. And speaking of mesmerizing, his fights, you got to go check out what this man has done. There's a video that we put on our community post section. We put it on our Discord as well. I'll show you right over here. You got to check this shit out, man. You gotta check this stuff out. Thank you guys in the chat. Really appreciate it. This video is a must-watch. He actually like debuted it for us over here. He never really released it over here. So this is like exclusive stuff. When he was 13, he's traveling around the world. I would love to do a whole stream. It's a 3-minute and 50-second video. I would love to do a whole stream just talking to him about this, like his traveling the world and taking out Dagestanis and stuff like that with Aaron Pico. And just a wild story with this kid. Instant fan of the guy. Let me know in the chat what you think of Clayton. I had to pop a gummy when he was playing the music. I was getting all into it. Oh, Jess, why didn't you come in on the interview? No.
I never come on interview.
Jess, it would have been great getting Jess. You should have jumped in right when the music was playing.
No.
You should have jumped in when the music was playing. Let's see. LOL Moss, cool guy. Just got out of class. Is Tropic. Yeah, I mean, if you missed Clayton's appearance, I'm telling you, run it back. Real cool guy, and he might go live on his Instagram. So go give him a follow. He'll be playing some music, and I guess he'll be interacting with the people. Let me bounce out of this. Hold on a second. That's what we do over here. That's what we do. What'd you think about Clayton?
I didn't get to see much of the interview, but I did see the end, and he does seem like a very genuine guy.
Yeah.
Nice guy, yeah.
I like the fact that he's very honest. You know what I'm saying? Like what you see is what you get. It's not. There's no sugarcoating. It's.
I will say though,
point.
if you want my honest opinion,
yeah,
there was a little bit of an awkward moment when he was like mid-sentence and was like, "I'm gonna go use the restroom," and just bounced out of nowhere. That was a little awkward.
No, well, he had to take a piss. I don't know.
And then he came back, and then he bounced again.
I gotta admit, I was terrified when we went to the dark. When we went to the dark part, I'm like, I think there might be a dead body somewhere. Like I thought he might have pulled someone out of a trunk or something, but no. Well, luckily there wasn't that. I like the kid though. I really do.
Yeah, he
nice
seems
guy.
like a nice kid.
Nice guy. I honestly think this kid's gonna make some noise at flyweight. I think he's gonna make some noise. Seriously, you got him on the ground floor here. Clayton is gonna make some noise at flyweight. Seriously, I can't wait to see his next fight. Anyway, let's move on. We've been talking about Clayton for like an hour and a half. I could go 4 hours with the guy, but we got to talk about some other stuff here. As the 278 pay-per-view is happening on Saturday night, I put a poll in the chat. 218 votes so far, and the people one day it's gonna say, will you buy UFC whatever, and they're actually gonna say yes. But never have we seen a poll end up where they say yes. It's usually no. And 21% are buying this pay-per-view. What do you think, Jess?
I can't say I blame them. I'm not condoning it because we all know what the alternative is here. However, I can't say I blame you for not wanting to purchase this pay-per-view.
So crazy. By the way, we got to send Clayton some CBDX. Got to send it to him. Okay. An appearance like that, he's got to get some CBDX. By the way, CBDX.com. The promo code is MMA-HOLES for 20% off. Their finest of THC. I popped a gummy in. It'll probably kick in within another 15 minutes. I kind of wish it kicked in while the music was playing because that shit was trippy. 20% off, promo code MMA-HOLES for that discount. Also, you get a gift in your first order, and you must be 21 plus or older. Jess, tell me a little bit about Sheath Underwear.
Sheath Underwear. By the way, Sheath just came out with a couple of new products, so make sure you guys head over to sheathunderwear.com. That's SHEATH underwear.com. They also have some ongoing promos and stuff as well, so you can bundle up your Sheath Underwear and get like a certain amount, you know, things like that. So head over to sheathunderwear.com. Treat your jewels like royalty using promo code MMA-Holes. That's MMA-HOLES for 20% off of your entire purchase. And while you're wearing Sheath underneath, you know what you got to wear over it. That's Headrush, baby. Headrush is provider of the highest quality authentic apparel for lifestyle, MMA, and action sports enthusiasts. Head over to Headrush with the link in the description below using promo code MMA-Holes. That's MMA-HOLES for 20% off of your entire purchase. And if you guys want to watch the fights this weekend, head over to ESPN Plus, but use our link in the description. When you use our link, you're helping out the MMA Holes, you're helping out yourself, you're helping out the world. ESPN Plus, watch all of your favorite live sports, including MMA, UFC, pay-per-views, UFC fight nights, whatever you want to watch. ESPN Plus, link in the description below.
Dun, 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 dun. For those that are actually going to buy the pay-per-view, you know.
Clayton, not a gangster, says Stacks. What do you mean he's not a gangster? Did he claim to be a gangster?
Yeah, so the guy's story, so he's like 12, 13. Did you catch that video, the training stuff? Not the training stuff, his previous
the one you sent me?
Competitions? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's 12, 13, traveling the world with Aaron Pico. Just, he armbarred this kid, and the kid was out cold. And he's bending the arm backwards in ways, but because he was out cold, the arm was able to bend that way. If he wasn't, the arm would have snapped in half. Dude, what a world, man. He's an assassin is right. Dude, I would not mess with this kid. Like, if I saw this kid, I don't care if he's a flyweight. I don't give a fuck. This kid is
Nah, I could take him.
He's a killer. All right, Jess, I'm telling you right now, the lab is literally a couple exits away. I'm about to drag your ass over there and say, roll with Clayton, and let's see what happens. All right, let's let's see how that. Let me know in the chat if you'd like to see that. That would be something else. Anyway, this event that's happening, UFC 278, there's a press conference tomorrow. We got the stream scheduled, ready to go. So after this, go hop on over there, hit the like. If you haven't hit the like, I mean, it's just a disrespectful move, guys. 90 likes with 130 people watching. Can you hit the fucking like button? Smash the like button. What are you waiting for over here? We hit a goalie goal of 63,604 subscribers. Let's go. Actually, in honor of Clayton, he likes dragons. We hit our goal of 63,604 subscribers. Let's unleash them on a Wednesday night. Ladies and gentlemen, let the dragons fly. The dragons!
Let's
On
go,
the MMA
baby.
channel with dragons. Let's go.
Subscriber goals. Subscriber goals. Subscriber goals. MMA-Holes. Subscriber goals. MMA-Holes. Subscriber goals. MMA-Holes. Subscriber goals.
Dragons!
Subscriber goals. MMA-Holes. Subscriber goals. MMA-Holes. Subscriber goals. Subscriber goals. The greatest channel on YouTube. The MMA-Holes. Goat. World domination.
And the crowd goes wild. The crowd goes crazy. All right. Anyway, we hit our goals, baby. Shout out to the new members in the chat over there. The emojis are flying. It's beautiful to see those things. I want to roll through some stories. Let's talk. Did you guys listen to the media scrum with Luke Rockhold?
The media scrum.
You didn't get a chance to listen to it,
but
right?
I overheard some of the stuff that you were listening to.
Woo!
were
Luke
walking
is
around
on
with your phone.
fire, baby. Luke is just an angry, grumpy. He went after the Nelk guy, which I loved. It was hilarious. Kimbo is a gangster. Yes, rest in peace, Kimbo. But yeah, let me know. Yeah, he really went for it, Luke Rockhold. I gotta be honest with you. I'm starting to jump back on the. I'm starting to jump back on the Luke train, the smug prick Luke train. I'm starting to jump back on there. I don't know. I don't hate Paulo Costa. I like Paulo. I actually do. I like the fact that he's got the humor on Twitter. I like the fact that he likes to have a little fun.
Divorce.
But
Someone get the divorce
I
papers
gotta be
ready.
honest with you. Think about this. Luke Rockhold smashes Paulo Costa, right? And he's just shitting on the UFC. I mean, he's shitting on Dana. He's shitting on everybody. Like, it's hilarious that he works for the company and he's just shitting. He's literally just dropping a dookie on them. Every time he gets a chance to do it, he does it. He doesn't give a fuck. It's just entertaining to watch. I love Dana White. I love the UFC. But I got to be honest with you, watching Luke Rockhold shit on him, it's hysterical. It's must-see TV. It's great. Paulo's funny as fuck, yes. But what's weird about Paulo is in interviews, he's not funny. On Twitter, he is, and he claims...
Because I don't think it's him behind his Twitter account.
He said it is. Well, he said it was on his media scrum today. He did say it was him. Say what you will. I don't think it is either. I
can take credit for everything Drunk Savage posts on Twitter. Oh, yeah, I put all that news up there. It's not that fucking hard to get onto a camera and say you did it.
I think he's a funny guy, but I don't know if it's all him. I don't know. I have no idea. But the whole Luke Rockhold, it's just a train wreck with Luke with his backwards hat. Like, he's dressing like a fucking, like, a boomer skater. Like, it's just so weird. And he's just shitting on the UFC. He went after the Nelk guy, which is hilarious. Because Marlon Vera apparently did an interview with the Nelk kid. And the Nelk kid gave him a Mexican mask. And Cheeto's not Mexican,
Why did he give him that mask?
Well, I guess he was talking.
He assumed that he was
I don't know.
Mexican?
I don't know. He fucked up or something. And Cheeto apparently got offended by that, and Luke Rockhold defended him and shit on the Nelk kid. It was so funny to listen to.
What did he say?
And the Nelk kid defended himself. Go watch it back for yourself.
What did the Nelk kid say? To defend? How do you defend something like that?
All right, you want to hear it?
Yeah.
I'll play it right now.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it, baby. By the way, off topic, but has anybody ever tried these? These are no sponsor, but these are so freaking good. I can't stop eating them.
Okay, here we go.
See ya. I don't need shit. That's why I can be the man I am today.
He looks so
old
and
looks like a grandpa.
I mean, he's in great
there.
shape, but look at him. My man is. I mean, he's also cutting weight, so you got to give him that. But my man's definitely got that just for men, in there. Anyway, we can't really show the video. I don't know what the deal with that is, but we could play the audio
In front of you and say it like it is. And I see all you guys around here right now, and I see this motherfucker right here. You got to do your fucking homework. You fucking, this degenerate culture of fucking barstool sports and full sin is that you got to do your homework. You can't approach Cheeto and give him a fucking Mexican mask about his culture. His culture, he's fucking Ecuadorian, motherfucker.
Now, it's funny that he says this because we did a stream, our last stream, or was it 2 streams ago? Someone came in the chat and made reference to Cheeto being Mexican, and I shit on the person in the chat, like, he's from Ecuador, and I yelled at him. And then, like, here we go with this. It's hysterical. So apparently everyone thinks Cheeto, I guess because the name Cheeto, that sounds Mexican, maybe? I don't know.
That's
that
an
nickname,
assumption.
Cheeto.
Stereotyping?
I don't know. I guess that's what it is. I don't know. I knew he was from Ecuador.
I want to hear what the rest he says.
Do your homework.
It wasn't
That's
to
it?
do with his background. I was literally just in San Diego, bro.
No, but you gave him a Mexican mask and you said, this is your culture. Like you're wrestling. You said something along those lines.
I
And
said
it was
it
a
was a
disrespect. It was a disrespect to him and where he's from. So it's about being a reporter. It's about doing your homework and really understanding what you. I know you guys got carte blanche because Dana's fucking partner with you guys right now, but fucking do your fucking homework.
Let's go, Luke. Let's go. How do you not like this?
I mean, I like that.
Come on.
That's a pretty good. I like that.
And then the guy comes. Yeah.
And grow a better culture.
So Jason,
Stop giving bad culture to kids.
Look at Luke being a role model here, Jesse. Here's the rebuttal from the Nelk guy. By the way, the Nelk guy, I mean, listen, good on him for getting the job with Nelk because apparently a lot of people applied for this job and whatever, and this guy got it, right? So he got the golden ticket. Now he's trotting around and getting all this press access. He's everywhere, getting all the big interviews because he's working with Nelk. But the downside of this is he's under a massive...
Is this the same kid that Nate Diaz smacks?
Yeah, same kid that Nate smacks. Now, I don't think this kid's a jerk, but I think what's happening...
Not doing his homework.
I think he's attached to Nelk, and Nelk is so fucking annoying. Like, let's be serious here.
Well, I think people don't like the privilege.
It's getting to the point, like, either you're a Nelk fan or you can't stand him, right? That's usually what it is.
I think with this community, though, I think a lot of it has to do with the privilege that they've been receiving, especially from Dana White and all the UFC privilege they've gotten.
They're getting front row seats. They're throwing shit into the thing. They're obnoxious. They're fucking... Now, here's the thing.
They're getting $250,000 as a...
Yeah, they're getting birthday presents, $250K. So I'm not a Nelk fan, so I don't know. I'm starting to learn about them because of the UFC. So I'm starting to learn about the Steve will do it and this and that. Still, whatever. That's like a fucking college kid thing. Okay, cool. You have your crowd, it's great. But the problem is, as a UFC fan, with no attachment to Nelk, we're getting force-fed.
You're kind of like, what do they have anything to do with MMA or anything like that? Because they have money and they're friends with Dana White's son.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's just annoying as a UFC fan to constantly be forced this. And here this guy is, he makes a mistake, and now Luke is, here, listen.
Fucking do your fucking homework and grow a better culture.
So Jason,
stop giving bad culture to kids.
I kind of hate how he's talking to Luke too. He's trying to like defend himself but cut off Luke.
Argue him?
And he's like, he calls Luke bro.
All right.
He calls Luke bro. Like what?
Hear.
Jason House is his manager, who's a friend of mine. I had texted Jason before I did the interview. I said, hey, Jason, I went out, I picked up this thing from the market. Nothing to do with Cheeto's culture. It was just something interesting.
You related it to him being a Mexican.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. That's exactly, like, Luke is not wrong.
What was his rebuttal?
No, I didn't. When did I call
That's how he took it. That's Mexican culture.
But when did I call him Mexican in the interview? Anyway.
Why are you giving him a Mexican mask? He's not Mexican. Like, it's not like, I don't understand. Where's the connection to the Mexican? Like there's.
I think he doesn't know how to. He's back into a corner. So.
Yeah, dude's like, I don't.
I worked it out with Jason.
I know. I'm just.
Then he throws the manager, Jason House. He's throwing this guy under the bus. Like, it's like, dude.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it's pretty shitty. You don't name drop when you're trying to defend yourself or your own actions. You can't just name drop and be like, well.
Take it on the chin, kid. You fucked up.
That's Mexican culture.
But when did I call him Mexican in the interview? Anyways, I worked it out with Jason.
I know. I'm just saying, just do your homework before you get there, and it's just creating better culture, man. That's what it comes down to.
I get you, bro. But like I said,
so he goes, I get you, bro. And as soon as he says, I get you, bro, this is the look that Luke gives him. He's like, bro, I'm about to jump in there and beat the fucking Nelk out of you. I'm about to go full send, bro.
Oh, God.
Meanwhile, what is Luke wearing? What the fuck is he wearing?
This is brutal.
Summertime. Where is he? Well, what is it in Utah? Go check the weather in Utah. Do we need a fucking fleece, like bizarre colored? Like, what is this? Maybe the air conditioning is on too. What's the weather in Utah? Apparently it's freezing over there. I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so let's hear the bro.
That's what it comes down to.
I get you, bro. But like I said, it was no.
I understand. But I'm just saying.
I got
this for future reference.
Have you watched any of our other interviews?
You ready?
Oh, he should have stopped, man.
This kid does not.
He should have stopped right there. He would have been good. If he stopped right there, like, he obviously doesn't look great, but he wouldn't have. He's digging now.
This kid.
I got
this for future reference.
Have you watched any of our other interviews?
No.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Luke, over the pot.
And I don't you either. It's all.
What do you say?
He goes, I don't you either. Here we go. Listen.
Luke, over the pot.
And I don't you either. It's all good.
I don't like you either? Is that
so,
what he said?
yeah, he goes, I appreciate you. And he goes, I don't you either. I think he meant to say, I don't appreciate you either. Like, I think that's what he meant to say, but he said it all weird. Like, Luke was just completely frustrated with this guy. But what do you guys think in the chat? Now, I know listen, Nelk's got a massive audience, so there's going to be the Nelk fucking nut huggers. Oh, how dare you? And there are people that hate Luke Rockhold, and that's fine.
I don't even think, if you really look at it, it really has nothing to do with Nelk. Or, like, I don't think this is really Nelk. I think this more has to do with... Hold on. You have to remember, these fighters, they probably get falsely reported on constantly by media. So Luke probably has had this happen to him one too many times, and he probably saw a friend of his have this happen to him, and he probably just got a little fed up with it. So he just kind of aimed that aggression into one direction, and Nelk is a very easy target because Nelk has UFC privilege.
Listen, Nelk Boys, their whole thing, listen, it's brilliant what they're doing because they're targeting this young, hungry audience that buys merchandise. They're targeting the college kids that love to fucking slam Happy Dads or whatever the hell they're drinking, right? It's young, it's fresh, it's like, who gives a fuck about the man? Let's just have some fun, party. Let's bang some bitches. Listen, if I'm a college kid, I'd be all over that. Like, if I was a kid, I'd be like, I mean, if I was in my 30s. You didn't
need to be a kid to do that, Mom.
In my 30s, I'd be doing it. What are you talking? I was doing stage tables in my 30s with fucking Diplo. Like, in my 30s, I would be into it, right? But now I'm in my 40s, right? And I'm a little different.
That was enough time for you to be
I finally grew up.
Maybe I should stop.
I finally grew up. I get it. I get what Nelk's doing. But the problem is, the UFC realizes the Nelk boys are massive. Full Send is massive. So they're like, let's capitalize. Let's work together. This is going to bring a young audience, what the UFC is starving for. They're starving for a young audience. Because a couple years back, we were doing streams, and the demographic for the UFC was a bunch of boomers. That's what it was. Like, people that were consuming the UFC are just old farts. But now you got a younger demographic. You got Twitter booming with MMA Twitter. You got the Nelk Boys going. It's younger. It's fresher. So, of course, the UFC would latch their teeth into something like that, you know? But the old school hardcore fans are seeing these punks slamming beers. They can't even drink the beer out of the top anymore, Jess. They just drink it out of the side. A shotgun out of the side. I've never done a shotgun. I've done keg stands, never popped a hole in the side of a beer and felt the need to suck it out of the side. Have you?
No, but I also didn't party, so I'm not the person to ask.
So the UFC is doing a good job, marketing these people, but you do have the cranky boomers, that are just like, you know, enough's enough. Now, I want to know in the chat, what do you think about this whole situation? What do you think about Luke? What Luke said? What do you think about the Nelk affiliation with the UFC? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know. And yes, I never fucking poked a hole in the side of a beer can. I never did it.
I do think that's a little silly.
I don't know. What's the purpose of it when you got the hole in the
It's
top?
more exciting, Moss, to drink it out of the side.
Yeah, let's have it spray. Why would I want to waste anything pouring down my shirt? I want to drink it. You know, I want to just fucking put it in my face.
Luke was right on point in that interview. He just needs to stop getting his jaw broken, says Gordon Hewitt. Sean Hart says, but you have done a shoey, Moss, and in your 40s.
That's true.
God damn it, Sean Hart.
Sean, you son of a bitch. How dare you?
Casey says it's gravity fed into your gullet. Duke Chronic says low pressure. Tropic Tom says pole. Cowboy says Luke Rockhold is a Karen. We know Cowboy is a Nelk fan. Jason Osada says, I bet 99.9% of Americans couldn't even tell us what the capital of Ecuador is.
I have no idea. What is the capital of Ecuador? I don't even know.
PC's
But I'm not handing Mexican masks to Ecuadorians, so I don't know. Maybe call me crazy.
PC Strickland says all these young casuals getting their MMA info from a Nelk dipshit.
Let's be honest. This guy, out of all the guys, they pick a guy that's like the human form of Goofy. Like it's. I'm watching this guy. The dude that's doing the Nelk stuff looks like a former drug addict, right? He reminds me of a guy that was a cokehead or whatever, did some hardcore drugs back in the day, and then said, you know what, I'm going to clean myself up and try to change my life. Because I get like massive drug addict vibes from this guy, and good for him if that's the case and he cleaned himself up. Good for him for doing that. Good for him for getting with the Nelk Boys and gaining exposure and doing these things. But there is a consequence.
Maybe that was the goal with Nelk. Maybe they're trying to pull a Howard Stern approach and get some fucking weirdo out there that attracts attention.
Nelk is not Howard Stern. Howard Stern's old news,
I'm saying,
right?
what if they were trying to do that? I'm not saying they are. I'm saying what if they were trying to go with that approach, getting a weirdo out there, and that brings attention, and it is because we're sitting here talking about him.
So apparently that guy had, I don't know if it was an Instagram account or something. So here's where the mistake happened, right? And this is why you have to remember, and we're going to pay the price with our old shows. But, and our shows now, let's be honest, because I did fucking deaf jokes on the Contender Series. So, I'm going to pay the price. I know I will. But anyway, talking about with Nelk, this guy over here that they hired, he had a social media platform. He had an audience. He was already getting in under fighters' skin, right? He was going out there. He put a lot of memes out there, which made him popular and got in the attention of Nelk. And when people were voting, everyone was voting for this guy because he had that underground meme audience. But the problem was he was making fun of a lot of fighters along the way. So now that he's trying to be a serious media member,
they can't take him seriously.
They can't, because this guy was making memes of like some fucked up shit. Like he was trolling hard. So that's the thing. We've been trolling from 6 years ago to now. We're still fucking a bunch of moron trolls that are fucking doing the show over here. So it's not like we're switching lanes and be like, okay, I'm going to be the schmo now. No, that's not, I'm going to be Ariel. No, that's not what we do. We do interviews, but we're goofballs. Look at what we say on our interviews. It's crazy. But what this guy did, he's trying to pivot. And he's trying to go with the Nelk route.
He wants to be taken more seriously.
He's trying to be taken serious, but you're on a platform of a bunch of, alcoholic fucking frat kids, So he's fucked. Like he's getting the exposure, but it's a double-edged sword, So I don't think he gives a fuck.
As long as the Nelk Boys stay behind him, I don't think it's really going to be, it's not going to last long. I think eventually people are just going to fucking ignore it and move on. I think right now maybe, he's getting a lot of attention, but I don't think this is going to be a very long.
You don't think he's going to last?
No, I don't think that the negative attention is going to last very long.
Yeah,
I think people are just going to forget about him and move on. He's just going to be some media guy.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. I don't think they're going to can him or anything like that. It's just the thing, and honestly, this clip going out there on
it's probably the best thing for him.
The Mac Life got 158,000 views. So no,
even
boys
bad
don't give a
press
shit.
is good press.
Yeah. He could get slapped by Nate Diaz. He can have Luke Rockhold.
They're probably telling him, do more.
Yeah. Because what's happening?
Piss more people off.
We're talking about it, right? So there you go. So, yeah, it sounds like he's getting reprimanded, but at the end of the day, they're getting the exposure. So they know what they're doing. This is not like, oh, my God, it's the end of the world for this guy.
Everything south of Texas is Mexico to full send MMA.
Wait, PC Strickland's a young dude, right? PC Strickland, how old are you? I'm curious. Because he sounded young on the phone, so he might be in that demographic.
I'm going to say he's in his 20s.
But he doesn't seem like a Nelk guy. right? So I'm curious, like to the younger viewers in the chat. Oh, he's 24. Okay, so well, he's not a child, but you know, he's kind of like on the border right there. 2
years younger than me. He's not. He's you know.
Well, the Nelk kid's what? Let's think. I'm trying to think of the. Well, the reporter's got to be in his mid-20s, right? That dude don't look young.
Probably.
Who knows? Maybe life was rough with him. I don't know. I feel like someone will smack the kid for real. Well, he did. Nate Diaz did, right? He did. Anyway, let's move on from this shit. Let's move on. It is interesting. I did laugh pretty hard. Listen, Luke Rockhold is probably one of the most hated UFC fighters, right? You can't stand him, right?
I mean, I prefer not to.
He drives me nuts. But I got to be honest with you. He's starting to grow on me again.
Yeah.
He's goofy. He's a dope. But let's be serious. That little clip, I'm Team Luke. I think it's hysterical, you know? I'm not trying to cancel the kid, but I think it's hilarious that he lashed into him. I just think it's funny, you know? That's my kind of cringe.
Moss, have you ever just one moment in your life sat back and just kind of went like, holy shit, and then you thought about how old you were?
Every day I wake up and sweat.
And go,
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a quarter century year old. Like, I just hit a quarter century. Actually, I'm a year more than a quarter century year.
I'm almost a half a century.
And you don't really think about it when it happens. And then, like, one day you're just like, I'm going to be 30 soon.
Listen, I heard someone recently talk about turning 30 and kind of freaking out about it.
I'm kind of, like, freaking out about it.
I freaked out at 30.
I'm going to be 30 soon.
I did. I'm not going to lie. Like, when I hit 30, I was, like, weird. I was really weirded out. Then I hit 40. I'm like, I'm almost dead. Who cares? You know, I didn't care at 40, but 30, I cared. 40, I was doing YouTube. Like, so I was
think
just like,
30 hits hard. 30,
yeah, 30 sucks.
I think 30 is going to hit me hard.
30's not fun. I don't know. Like, it's just because your 20s, like, that's the time. You got to get everything done in your 20s, right? I didn't. I had fun in my 20s, but I didn't get everything done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I had too much fun.
All right, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Too much fun in my 20s.
I just had that moment when we were talking about PC Strickland's age, and then I was like,
yeah.
And I said he was 2 years younger than me, and then I was like, holy shit, I'm 26. I forgot I was 26.
Let's see.
And 4
Let's see
years
the
are
chat.
going to fly by, and
Listen,
then I'm going
Jess,
to be 30.
Don't think ahead. Don't think ahead. You're in the prime. Like, you're approaching your prime. You're not even in your prime. If you think about it. You're really not. You know? Don't be the kid that peaked in high school. Don't be that person. 5 years you can make $1 million. I don't know how to act my age because I've never been this age before. 30 is a long way. Imagine freaking out about being 20. Yeah, I mean, when I was 26, although I'm not going to lie, when I was 24 and I dated someone at 27, I thought she was ancient. No joke. Like, I was like, I got to get out of this relationship. She's way too old. And here you are with me at 45. Me at 24 dating a 27-year-old. And she had a kid. I was like, I got to get out of here.
But it goes by fast. Like, think about it this way. I had Ellie when I was 24.
Yeah.
And we feel like we've only had her for a second, and I'm 26 now.
Oh, sweetie?
That's what I'm saying. It's going to fly
Baby
by,
girl,
and I'm going to be 30.
It's going to go quicker. Don't worry. Listen, we're walking with the baby, and she's looking at the baby like, oh, my God, she's getting so quick. Time's flying. I'm looking. I'm like, I'm 45. Bitch, I'm 45. Like, trust me, I know time flies. I'm at the stage where every fucking day I'm breathing through the nose, out the mouth. I'm absorbing life. There's a fucking bird over there. That bird is brilliant. Look at that bird. Just look at the bird. And Jesse's like, I'm dying. That bird is just glorious. Look at the colors on the bird. It's just so majestic, and it just flies around. That bird's amazing. Like, I'm like soaking everything in. That's what you gotta do. If you could look at our guests.
Of course I'm soaking it in. I soak in every minute, but I still sometimes it hits me.
Oh man, this guy. I'm like, I'm with a stick, just digging it into the dirt as I walk. Look at that bird over there. Look at Clayton, who was just on the show. 26 years old. My man is in his mind.
Oh, is he 26? That kid looks like he's like 23.
Yeah, he's like a kid, right? He looks like a kid.
He doesn't seem like he's 26.
Doesn't act like a kid, but still 26 years old. He's got everything in slow motion. Like, everything is just chill.
Yeah.
That's where you got to be. That's where I got to be.
Not happening.
I know. I said I was jealous of the kid. I don't know how the fuck to get to that. Like, he's just fucking cool. We got to read books, Jess.
Yeah.
We got to read books.
And play the cello.
Play the cello. and travel the world doing jiu-jitsu, fighting Dagestanis. Anyway.
All right. Moving on.
Okay, let's scroll through some news stories and get the fuck out of here.
Okay. Dana White says Paddy Pimblett is
Hold
all
on a
right.
second.
Forget it.
Let's back that ass up. So you got the Luke Rockhold Nelk thing.
Yeah.
By the way, this is me after eating a lot of cheese, Jesse.
Do you sit on the toilet like that?
This is why I'll never be like, I'll never get a tweet that like gets retweeted a million times. Because like someone could say this and they'll get 400 retweets because I say I thought this
was a horrible sight to even like
this
picture
is me
in my
after
head.
I ate a bunch of cheese, Jesse.
You
This is
sitting
me.
there with your pants off
Yeah,
in this
just
position.
picture me perched on the toilet trying to
Ew,
squeeze that cheese out and making this
Such
face.
such a bad
And I'm making this face
image.
over here trying to evacuate the cheese. I was dying after that post. Got fucking
God.
6 retweets. Anyway, let's move on. Sorry. I digress, Jesse.
I hope you don't perch on the toilet like
I do
that.
actually. That's me.
Oh God.
All right, so we spoke about Luke with the Nelk Boys. What's up with John Dotson over here?
John Dotson explains why he signed with BKFC. He's confident he's going to KO Ryan Benoit at the next event, and he'll want to quit in the first 10 seconds.
I'm down with that. I'm down with him and BKFC. I'm looking forward to seeing that. If it's up against the UFC, I'll watch the replay.
TJ Dillashaw says Sean O'Malley is great for MMA, but most likely Petr Yan will run through him at UFC 280.
What do you think?
I agree. I 1000% agree. Listen, I like Sean O'Malley. I think he's got some pretty, decent talent, but not enough talent to go through someone like Petr Yan. Petr Yan's a fucking animal, dude. Like, anyone who thinks that Petr Yan's not winning this fight, you're delusional.
I tell you, I should have asked Clayton what he thought about that matchup.
Petr Yan, come on. What are we doing?
Well, listen, I think a lot of us are picking Petr Yan, but Sean is a lot bigger. He really is. Like, hold on, let me pull Sugar Sean. Let's see.
Excuse me.
I want to see the difference over here.
Yan is an animal.
Yan is an animal. I agree. Like, Yan is like the real deal. He should easily get the job done here. But, you do have to take into consideration. Here we go. By the way, I think Jan's around the same age too, right? Yeah, Jan's not far. He's 29. So Sugar's 27. Jan's 29. It's not like Jan's like an ancient fighter. But if you look at it, 5'7" to 5'11", 72-inch reach versus a 67. Now, Jan's a very good striker, and he's got really good defense as well. But you don't think Sugar could crack the defense?
It's not going to mean anything to him, man. It's not going to mean jack shit. Yan is going to run through him. I completely agree with that comment.
Let's see what the chat says.
Shout out to all you freak bitches, says Slow DK. Duke Chronic says Sean is not turd, but I'd like him to join a better gym. LOL Nelk Boys, says Mike Jones. Aiden says Sean is winning. You're speaking slander. Sean O'Malley is 6 feet. Michaela says Sarah St. Pierre. Sarah beat that ass. Okay. I meant that in a respectful way, says Slow DK. And Ann says, but will Sugar use his reach or will Jan snuff him and stay close so he can't throw anything?
I think it's a fascinating fight. A massive step up for Sean, like Sean leaping up.
Casey says Sean wins the fight. Dirtworm has Jan. Sean Har says Jan starts slow but calculated. Maggle says if Corey couldn't use his size advantage on Jan, Sean won't. Will says Jan starts slow. If Sean can catch him round 1, he could win. Leo England says Sean will win. Duke Chronic says AATK. Jay Will says 3 rounds that favor Sugar. Let's see.
It's interesting.
I think it'll be competitive, but Jan wins, says Josh Cagle.
Okay, let's move on to the next story over here. And big shout out to Damn Savage. I don't know if he's in the chat, but did a good job dropping these stories. We'll give him some love on Twitter.
Keeping the show flowing and going, right, Or going and flowing?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Matt Frivola's got a fight announcement coming up soon. I hope it's Paddy. I mean, I hope
Paddy
we got
the
it.
Fatty?
Yeah, I hope Paddy Pimblett versus Matt Frivola.
When is Paddy going to get rid of the Justin Bieber hair, though?
He's not. He said that's the thing.
It's a little silly.
Forever.
What's he got hiding under there?
I don't know. But let's try to get through this because the weed's going to kick in and then I'm going to be...
sorry. Dana White says Paddy Pimblett is ballooning up, or him ballooning up makes it hard for the UFC to plan fights, and it hurts us, too. But he won't intervene. Oh, boy. Yikes. He's kind of right. If you think about it, they have to wait for Paddy to burn off all the weight that he puts on after a fight.
Yeah,
and
they can't throw him on the MSG
card.
card.
It fucks everything up.
But he don't want to fight in New York because of the taxes and shit like that.
Paddy wants to be taken seriously, but he's over here acting a fool by putting on all that weight. Also, his gallbladder's not going to like it for very long.
Well, that's the thing. He did say, so he said, Paddy said this. I watched his media scrum before the last fight, I think it was. And he was saying how right now he's young and he can get away with it, so he's going to do it. But he says once he starts fighting, I'm just saying what he said. Once he starts fighting ranked guys, then he knows he has no choice but to live the lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? No more of this nonsense. But here's the thing. He could be fucking himself up right now.
He could be, and what people don't understand is it doesn't matter how old or young you are. Excessive weight gain and weight loss over and over again, or at high levels, fucks with your gallbladder. Your gallbladder has a harder time every time processing what's going through you. He could get fucking gallstones and have to get it removed for, and that could put him out for months. So listen. I get that maybe it's for attention that he does it. I don't know. Maybe he's got this binge eating disorder, but he needs to start playing it safe now. He can't be waiting until he's fighting ranked guys to be playing it safe.
More importantly, a radioactive space zombie asked if we would, if Nelk Boys approached us, will we join?
What?
Will we join the Nelk Boys?
Fuck no.
If they approach us. I got to be honest with you, Jesse. This is what I would do. I would say on my terms.
Yeah, I agree with that. But
would say,
that was
listen,
our deal for anybody who approached us.
You got to throw a bag of money at us.
Has to be on our terms.
Got to be on our terms. We got to do it the way we want to fucking do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not
going to
censor
us.
I'm not going to be going around smashing happy. Well, maybe I will. Maybe I'll have a Happy Dad hat on the next stream.
I will not be supporting anything.
Maybe I'll be smashing drinks, off my head. And,
I'll support Maker's Mark and some red wine.
Listen.
Ain't no Happy Dad say never. Here.
Never say never.
The fuck you think this is?
We would change their bum lives. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on from this, Paddy. You have anything else to say on Paddy?
Nah. I said what I had to say.
Okay. Here's Dana again.
He said big mistakes were made, but he's not re-signing Shane Burgos to the UFC.
Okay.
What mistakes were made?
I don't care. Oh.
It's Shane Burgos, Moss.
No, I'm joking. So I did hear him say this. Yeah. So Shane Burgos. So he actually, Dana doesn't do this much. Dana actually says we messed up. He's like, we usually get it right. He wanted Shane to stay. And Shane's going to PFL. But he says he's happy for him. Money. Yeah, he's happy for him because he's gonna make some good money. But
you know what mistakes were made? Dana White isn't paying his fighters enough. And so now they're all leaving to other organizations where they're getting paid triple the amount of money they were getting in the UFC.
Listen.
That's what mistakes were made.
Dana didn't make a mistake. He's saying it because he likes Shane. He's trying to be nice.
I don't think he gives a fuck. At the end of the day,
make a mistake.
He's got all these new contenders coming in.
I got to be honest with you. Shane Burgos is very fun to watch fight. Not a champion. Okay? Shane's fun. He is fun. I enjoy Shane Burgos' fights.
But nobody goes, I can't fucking wait for that Shane Burgos fight.
Well, no. Yeah, people get pumped up for Shane.
But
it's not like, not like super, casual or whatever.
You might get pumped up for Shane Burgos.
I do. But that's fine. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Because of people like you, like the UFC moves on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't need Shane Burgos. Like, they don't need him. So Dana was actually he did a nice one. He said, he's trying to admit that they made a mistake, but at the end of the day, deep down, if you hook up Dana to a lie detector, he's like, I don't give a fuck about Shane Burgos. I don't care. That's what Dana White say. It's all about the Paddy Pimbletts. That's what we need, right? Conor McGregor.
Well, according to the last story, that's not what he needs because Paddy Pimblett's just making it harder for them to match fights.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Don't believe everything you read or hear, Jesse.
I believe it, Moss.
The Red King. Well, we spoke about the Red King, right? I mean, yeah, we're good with this. Leon Edwards?
Yeah, Leon Edwards agrees with Dana White saying Kamaru Usman trilogy is next with his UFC 278 title win. So...
By the way, before we get into this, who do you think Steamroller Frivola gets? I tell you what, I kind of wanted the rematch with the Tarantula. That's what I wanted. If you don't get, oh fuck, I just lost my Twitter stories.
Should be ashamed of yourself, Moss.
That rematch would be fun because the Tarantula's doing, but I don't think the Tarantula would go the other direction. Why not Jordan Levitt, baby? Let's go. You know what? I don't want to see two people. I don't know. Like I feel like when we have someone on the show, I don't want to see them fight another person we had on the show.
I do.
That's why we could never be so famous. You know?
I don't give a fuck. Because I do, and I will pick a side.
I'd rather just be, look at Devin. Like, we picked William Knight over Devin, and Devin's never letting us live it down.
Wait, did I pick William Knight over Devin?
I think so,
I can't remember.
Yeah, we went with the big black guy.
But
we
fuck
went with
I'll root for
the wider
give
black
a shit
guy
if you've
rather
been on
than
the show.
taller. So, I don't like when they fight each other. I am a fan. You know?
It's okay to be a personal fan.
They're not
of a
allowed to fight
fighter,
each other. They're my friends.
but
Well,
still
they're
root
not really,
for
but-
one over another.
I know,
What are they
but
gonna
I become
do?
attached,
Hit you up
Jesse.
in your DMs and be like, I can't believe you went for the other guy.
I feel for them.
Jesus.
Yeah, I guess. Whatever. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah. So we don't know. So I don't know. As Frivola, he sounds pretty excited about it. Actually, should I message him now and say, hey, man, who you fight? Should I say you want to break some news? Actually, we should drag him back on before he becomes too Twitter famous. Once you become too
What
Twitter,
is Twitter famous?
once you become too Twitter famous, you
Who
throw
the
off.
fuck gets famous off Twitter anymore?
Listen, there's a thing called Twitter famous, and it's a weird cesspool.
You're living in like 2005, Moss.
No, Jesse. Matt Frivola is actually gaining fame from Twitter.
Because
Yes.
MMA Twitter started retweeting all
Listen,
his shit.
let me just say this to you. Jesse is a mom. Jesse doesn't live.
Don't use excuses.
But no, this is the truth though. She doesn't live in this cesspool called the internet.
Yes,
Not just Twitter.
I do go to
the
MMA
internet.
Twitter very often. And I don't think Twitter.
There are people
the
on
place to
MMA
get
Twitter
famous.
that are legit like Twitter famous. Like they're like doing commentary at events.
Get the
They're getting
fuck outta
flown
here.
to places. They're inside the cage. They're having elite fighters on. They're becoming BFFs with the fighters because of Twitter. What world do you live in? You don't see this? I'm telling you, as Savage, he knows.
Twitter famous.
Anyway,
Imagine going up to someone and be like, yeah, pretty famous on Twitter.
I know, it's disgusting. But anyway,
Or so hard over
there is
there.
this cesspool world on Twitter. There is, right? And people are becoming, some sort of a celebrity status from the Twitter over there. And fighters are begging MMA Twitter for followers and this and that. UFC fighters, like you don't see this in baseball, football, basketball. You don't see it.
They're just looking.
They don't go to NBA Twitter and be like, "Come on, please follow me."
You have to remember, fighters are just looking for exposure because it's not easy to work your way up
But fighters
in an organization like this. So they have to kind of like, they have to find that draw from other people.
Where do you see a sport where the professional athletes are running over to Twitter and begging for followers? It's nuts, and I
Who's
see
begging,
this.
by the way?
I don't want to throw anyone
I
under
want
the
to know.
bus.
Tell me now.
I'll tell you after the
Since
show.
when do you want to not throw
All
someone
right,
under the bus?
Matt Frivola, for instance. Like he jumped in on the MMA Twitter thing, and he is all in on it.
Okay.
And he's gained
But
some
who's
serious
begging
exposure.
for followers? What fighters are begging for followers? Say it.
Go on Twitter.
Where's
Maybe do your job and go on
Where's
Twitter and look at
Mystic
it for
Moss?
yourself. Anyway. So it's
don't believe it.
and yeah, other sports get paid more, blah blah blah. They don't need it, so they'll hire people to do it. But anyway.
Where are you famous at? Twitter.
It's crazy, man. MMA Twitter is fucking wild. And here's the thing about MMA Twitter too. If you hashtag MMA Twitter, it's like the uncool thing to do. I've noticed this.
Why is
all
that?
the tweets that get all the real retweets are just some witty thing, and they hope that someone that is Twitter famous retweets it, so everyone checks it out. But if you put hashtag MMA Twitter, no one gives a fuck.
I hashtag MMA Twitter.
No
and
one cares.
everything.
If you go hashtag MMA Twitter and you look for retweets on there, there's like no engagement.
Really?
Yeah. I think people just scroll through and like, fuck it. They're not
They
going to
just
like
want to see
anything.
what's going on, but they're not going to
Yeah,
interact.
that's what it's about. It's a whole thing. Not my cup of tea. The only reason why I know about it is because of this fucking show. But anytime I go over to Twitter, I'm like, I need a shower.
Twitter famous.
Yeah, like what the fuck? I'd rather YouTube. I mean, I don't know. We fucking do this full time. Like I don't know how. I mean, I guess you can do it.
Twitter famous. God, it's so fucking ridiculous.
It is crazy. But yeah, you're seeing.
But hey, whatever works, guys.
But you know what?
do you, boo boo.
How about this? Fighters are starting YouTube channels and using that as like Chael Sonnen, for instance, has 1 million subscribers now on YouTube, and YouTube is his thing. That's massive for Chael right now. So you have like professional athletes going over to a platform that's like our home, and they're coming to our place to get exposure and shit like that. It's wild. The internet's crazy, man.
Well,
Look at True Jordy. Listen to this.
The platform's for everybody, not just one person, Moss.
You want to vomit? Listen to this, Jesse. And then I'll... Actually, no, hold on a second. So this is True Jordy. By the way, I have gone on record before saying this. True Jordy is a fucking moron. I don't care. Like I
still don't even know who True Jordy is.
I don't know it either. I don't listen to anything. All I see is a
then
clip.
how do you know he's a moron?
Well, here you go. Listen to this.
That Max Holloway, for me, while I rate him highly, I don't have him on the level of Colby at all.
This is the same guy.
What?
This is the same guy.
Why?
That was sucking off Conor McGregor, like sucking the skin off the cock, like sucking off Conor McGregor. And then ever since he started losing, I just don't like the way he's acting. Like I can't do the British accent, unfortunately. But here we go. Let's say it again.
That Max Holloway, for me, while I rate him highly, I don't have him on the level of Colby at all.
Oh my God.
I mean, probably the dumbest take of all time. Unless
Now
you're
that's
throwing.
how you get Twitter famous. Just say that Max Holloway is not on Colby's level. Twitter famous.
So I said that this guy, he reminds me of like the British Brendan Schaub. Like that's what's going on here. Like the shit that comes out of this guy's mouth.
Oh my God. Do you think he's just saying it though, probably to get views?
Dude, Chronic says I agree. Listen, I like Colby Covington. I think he's fun. But this is apples and oranges. Are we talking about recency bias? Like, look what Max Holloway did. Like, it's just fucking nonsense. Nonsense. And Duke, what was going on? I'm about to kick you out of this chat.
What kind of feedback his audience gave him.
Well, there are a bunch of Duke Chronics, hopefully.
That Max Holloway, for me, while I rate him highly, I don't have him on the level of Colby.
Highly. It's almost like he's trying to back up in case people try to come after him, and he could be like, "Well, I said I rate him highly."
Unless you're talking about as an entertainer.
That's
maybe?
horrible, man.
Maybe an entertainer, like someone that.
That's probably the worst thing I've ever heard
clicks.
from somebody.
I mean, if we're just talking about fighters.
Could you fucking imagine? Could you imagine what his audience did? You know what? His audience probably sucked him off. I guarantee his audience was probably like, "Yeah, man, I agree." Blah, 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 blah. Even if they didn't agree, like you know how like some people have. I think he has that audience. I have no clue who True Jordy is, but I think he has that audience.
Weird, man. Well, anyway, any chance of collaborating with any big podcasters and YouTube stars? We just burn every fucking bridge here on the show.
Moss.
We burn them all.
The MMA-Holes, Twitter famous.
They could all suck a dick. Anyway, yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird. But that's what True Jordy thinks. And this is not the first dumb thing that he said. He said multiple dumb things. It's just weird. But you know what? Like, I think I'm convinced that some people like to, like, I think people listen to us because I'm not the smartest person in the world, right? Mm-hmm. They just like to hear dumb people talk, so they feel better about themselves.
Super chat. That's why I married you.
Jonathan!
Luke's gonna lose bad karma. Hess went to the dark side of the Force. Kill the next generation of Jedi.
Whoa, my God. Well, you might not be wrong, man. I mean,
maybe you just jinxed it.
You might not be wrong. Let's see what we got in the chat here. Chat's fired up.
Sean Hart gets drunk on the weekends and then goes out at night searching for koalas for him to force himself onto and molest.
Wonderful.
Okay.
He's from the Geordie Shore. What do you expect? I had a girl put her tongue down there before and it wasn't bad. Okay.
All right.
Duke Chronic says Reva. Jonathan says sounds like you suck the COVINGTON too. COVINGTON? What is a COVINGTON?
The COVINGTON. I don't know. I have no idea. Corn?
That one girl says I'm a dumbass who says smartass. Sean Hart says everyday space zombie like your mom, you goose.
Whoa. Okay. Anyway, so Leon, what happened here? Did we? I don't know.
Yes, we discussed.
We did it?
Yes.
I think I'm having a little bit of that feeling.
That's it, Moss.
Oh, okay. Good. Perfect. Because I'm about to go into La La
I can tell
Land.
because when I was talking to you about True Jordy, you were just staring at me and there was no response, no like reaction, nothing. And I was like,
I'm
the weed's
on autopilot
in.
right now. I got to be honest with you. I got the tongue thing going on. That's when I know trouble's about to happen. Like,
I only know because you just stopped listening altogether.
Could be that too.
You just go into a whole other world.
I don't even know what I'm saying. To be honest, like I probably said, I don't know. True Jordy, whatever I rambled about, do not hold me to it because
hold him to it.
I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
Moss.
No, but honestly, I feel a little spacey. Okay. What else was there? What else did I want to talk about? I don't even remember.
You tell me, Mystic Weed.
Mm-hmm. Stacks is Twitter famous. Oh my God.
Stacks. Twitter famous.
It's Twitter famous. Okay. Is that it? I don't really don't have anything else.
Twitter famous?
I tell you what, some people don't care what platform it is. They just want to get the exposure,
Twitter famous.
Right?
Ellie, Twitter famous.
Yeah, Ellie could be Twitter famous. I don't know. But you have to think about this. Twitter as a platform is a direct connection to everybody. Like I'm talking Elon Musk, If you want to fucking talk to Elon Musk, you go to Twitter.
It's not as easy as just slipping in his DMs, Moz.
No,
It
not
doesn't work
DMs.
that way.
When he tweets publicly, you could just tweet on his tweet and like, or you could retweet something. I'm not even, now I can't even talk. Retweet something.
Maybe you should wrap up the show,
And
Mystic Weed.
Elon could, you know, see that, right?
Yeah.
Twitter is so fucking powerful when it comes to instant interaction, right? So if you build a name on Twitter, it could be a massive tool. It really could. Bigger than any platform. So I know you're mocking Twitter, and I hate Twitter too. Don't get me
It's
wrong.
just so ridiculous. I'm not listening. Whatever
But does
works,
it make sense?
Whatever gets you your eyeballs or whatever. I'm just saying it's a little ridiculous to me, like the whole fucking Twitter famous.
But
I don't
does
know,
it?
like, it's
But does it
silly.
make sense though?
You can be Twitter famous, and the rest of the world has no idea who you are.
But
you
Jesse,
know?
do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get where you're
It's
coming from. Like I
probably-
said, to credit to whoever the fuck becomes Twitter famous.
Yes.
Are you mocking me?
No,
now?
I don't know. Your arms are moving. I don't know if it's because I'm.
It's the weed, Moz.
I don't
It's
know.
the
what,
weed.
But it's fucking me up. Guy, keep talking.
Credit to whoever becomes Twitter famous. I'm just saying.
It's like show tunes. I feel like we're gonna jump into a Broadway play right now. It's like jazz hands are going on. I don't know. Did I get the jazz?
All right, let's wrap this shit up. I gotta eat, man. I'm starving.
Yeah, we gotta eat. We're hungry. Okay.
You wanna go pick up food?
Don't you have food?
No.
Of course I want to go pick up food. Now I got like the munchies. So you wait until I get high, and then you're like, okay, let's get some
But I have to
sloppy
drive,
burgers.
not you. Actually, I'll just go get it.
How you gonna
gotta stay home
drive
with
the fucking baby? I'll go
Yeah,
get
you'll
it.
stay home with the baby. You're not driving while you're high.
Okay. I think we're done, guys. I
Yeah.
apologize. I took an edible, so I'm out of here. I'll see you. Tomorrow, right? Tomorrow.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you to our sponsors, Head Rush Sheath Underwear, MyBookie.ag, UFC and ESPN Plus, and Undisputed Belts. Promo code MMA-Holes. That's MMA-HOLES for all of your discounts on all of your favorite products. Thanks, Julian Lane, for coming on the show. And as always, don't be an a-hole. Be an MMA-Hole.